Astros. That's when they faced the Red Sox.
Yeah.
But 206 and 192 on batting averages. It's a little lighter, admittedly. You've got a point there. But on the other hand, the Orioles batting order on the bottom, Rivera, Holiday, 2 per team, 175. They have some light work to do, but how are they? He played hero last game.
Yes, he did. What was it, a 3-run variety? Was able to get them the win, and then the game before that, they were able to come back in order to take 1-2. So Houston does have the season series. However, Baltimore was able to take the last 2 games, try to finish this one out today. I know some people are saying, Alec, that this could be a preview of World Series. We'll see. I think pitching needs to come at the forefront for Baltimore because they're missing some guys.
They are. And for Houston, pitching has been one of their concerns. That's why they got Yusei Kikuchi over the trade deadline from Toronto, because that starting staff looks kind of brutal. Their bullpen looks nice. I'm just concerned about their starting rotation.
Yeah, when you look at some of the stuff for Baltimore, make sure I scroll down on my notes here. So they're going to try to get Grayson Rodriguez back and Zach Eflin. Those are not small names. Those are guys that have won double-digit games, especially for Grayson Rodriguez. He's still a young arm. We know Baltimore is going to be a shoo-in to win it all. In fact, we got a chance to, maybe watch them a little bit last year against the Texas Rangers. We know they're going to be a playoff team, is what I meant to say. It's just whether or not they can actually push for a World Series berth. And even if they don't, Alec, this is still a team that's so young that they're going to have the window wide open. But at some point, maybe if we, diagnose down the road 27, 28, I think the fans would start to get a little bit worried there. They're not worried right now, but they do want to see this team win it. It's just probably going to take a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to take a while for them to get to the World Series, but they do have the pieces to make a deep run, such as Adley Rutschman, Anthony Santander, Gunnar Henderson. That's the main three that you want to build around. And how rare is it that you're so good that you have trade with another playoff caliber team in the Philadelphia Phillies to make a trade for Sir Anthony Dominguez, though it may cost you Austin Hayes. Getting Sir Anthony Dominguez in return for that is a big deal between trades.
Well, you look at it like you said. You have Colton Cowser. You have a couple other guys in the outfield that you already have. You want to get time too. So really, Austin Hayes in his 30s looking a little bit expendable. So I would say that's where it comes from there. He's a good player, but that's why you have to make trades, get good players for good players. And Cedric Mullins not in the lineup today, still day-to-day. I know his average of 225 is not where he'd like it to be, but 23 stolen bags for the 29-year-old. I want to see him get healthy and get a little bit of a run because Cedric Mullins can still get it done.
And yes, ESPN is highlighting Cionel Perez. Well, Houston's giving Yordan Alvarez a day off. He's dealing with a neck injury. He's not in the lineup, but he's day-to-day right now.
One of the best hitters in all of baseball, Yordan Alvarez. So we'll get a chance to see how that's going. I know I looked as far as your schedule for next week. I think I might join you for that Friday with the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. That one got a little bit spicy toward the end with multiple players getting hit by pitch. You got Ohtani maybe going for a 50-50 at some point, which I can't believe. For how good he is, to be able to still almost steal 50 bags is outrageous, but he can kind of do it all.
Yeah, he's the 6th player ever to join the 40-40 club, and the first Dodger ever. That is an outstanding piece of history there for Shohei to join us. How are you doing, Andrew?
We're doing all right. I wanted to add a little something. When we're talking about the Orioles' future, you got to bring up Vance Honeycutt. Greatest UNC baseball player of all time, going in, pitch right in there with that Orioles outfield, coming in back to the lineup. I see him contributing as easily as next year.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, Andrew, because that's kind of the point I was making with Alec here. And again, I wasn't aware of all of the prospects there, but it seemed like Baltimore, they got a really young team. They had a lot of guys waiting in the wings. So you really had to move on from Austin Hayes, didn't you?
If you trade with another World Series contender, you're moving on from Austin Hayes to give more opportunities for Colton Cowser. It does feel like there's an addition on both ends. at left field and at the reliever. You give Cowser the full-time minutes.
So I don't want to spoil anything because I know you got the video side of it, Alec, but do you want to split play-by-play? You can lead it off?
How about it?
Okay, we'll do that. I'm excited to join you here for the Sunday night game. I haven't covered a lot of Sunday night games. We've been doing baseball here and there, but this is a good matchup here between both squads. I am a little interested, though, as we have Dean Kramer. They're showing him on the mound right now. And then on the other end, Yusei Kikuchi. I know Kikuchi is a long-tooth veteran here that can be pretty good, but both starters, the ERA is about 4.30 plus. So might see some runs scored in this one.
Might. With Altuve leading it up, you know what you're getting with Altuve. So Alex Bregman, he's at 258. Yainer Diaz, this is a player that's worth highlighting. He's a 302 on his batting average. No slouch. And him as a DH or a catcher, that doesn't hurt.
That's a lot of versatility there for the Astros. Again, that's just something they needed to continue to find. They got Caratini behind the plate today, but Yainer Diaz can do both. And he's in the same spot that Yordan Alvarez would be. As you look at Joe Espada's lineup, you look at 1 to 5, Alec, it's probably fair to say that they're stacking talent.
You can add 1 through 6 when you include the rising Ben Gamble, who is at right field. Many can say that he is filling in the place of Alvarez, but Gamble himself, he's doing very nicely at the bat at 290.
Yeah, I think he was just claimed from the Mets, and he's got 39 plate appearances now. Again, he's been around MLB for a long time, but they just claimed him. They need some depth in there because they're still waiting for Kyle Tucker to come back.
Yeah, he's still on the 60-day injured list because of that injury that he had, his shin injury. Though Dana Brown, the GM of the Astros, said this past Friday that he hopes that Tucker will be able to return early September. So perhaps sometime next week or after.
Yeah, again, that's a big bat in the lineup. Again, a plus defender as well. We all know about Kyle Tucker. He's someone that can absolutely take over. So the Astros add that, and they get Yordan Alvarez back being set to go. But we're going to get underway here.
Baltimore is waiting for the first pitch. Though we are not having his seats full. Though a lot of Orioles faithful here for Sunday Night Baseball as we are underway here at Camden Yards. The Astros at the bat first, none other than Jose Altuve. You know there are going to be boos rain down between him and Bregman as there's a first pitch strike down the middle of the sinker, 92.
You got a 34-year-old Jose Altuve now, an elder statesman, but still batting around 300. Absolutely ridiculous.
The longevity that he provides, yes, indeed, as you mentioned, ridiculous. He takes a cutter, did not go. It was 2 to left, 88. So he knows what he's getting between pitches, whether it be down to strikes. So that's a very good eye with the hand-eye coordination that he provides over at the plate all these years. Third pitch, it's high to the left center, 92 on a sinker.
404 batting average at Camden Yards.
That's the highest at one venue by any active player. That doesn't seem real at all, John.
No, it doesn't.
And a swing and a miss. Not one that you see often from Altuve.
No.
But curveballs, of course, as always, very tough to go against.
Yeah, he got him way out in front. He was pretty much waving the magic wand. He couldn't find an uncomfortable swing there for Altuve.
Expelliarmus in Harry Potter terms.
Well, we'll see if Alex Bregman can do any better here.
He'll take ball one, the sinker down low, 93. It immediately is a 1-0 count. Bregman, even though he's not his prime years, he still provides serviceable bats, as shown by his 258 batting average. This pops up the sinker 92. It's not going to get anywhere far. Santander tracks it perfectly. 1 up, 1 down, 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, and you mentioned in between Altuve and Bregman, again, that's why you bring up Alvarez, guys like Tucker, Jeremy Pena over the last couple of years. Some of these other guys that are getting older, you need some of the other pieces in the backup to be able to do some damage. And it's a good lineup right now, but you kind of wonder how long it's going to continue.
That's why you want to rely on the youth to replace some of the older guys, such as Jeremy Pena when George Springer left for Toronto.
Right.
These are 2 World Series MVPs that we're talking about as Diaz. He takes ball 1 down low on the cutter at 89.
Yeah, you don't see very many catchers, infielders, DH bat around 300. The 25-year-old, again, they're showing Yainer Diaz. High batters average since June 1st, 341. That's up there with Guerrero, Witt, and Judge.
As he swung on that curveball 77, that is unreal between Yainer Diaz to be up in elite company with Aaron Judge and Bobby Witt Jr. We can make the argument. Ian told me this beforehand that he's making the argument that right now Bobby Witt Jr. is the best batter in baseball right now.
I would find it hard to disagree with that. I know he mentioned that in passing to me as well. Again, with the amount of speed, the stolen bases, the elite defense, he's in that company for sure.
Got that big payday, and it was well worth it. And he can build on a season like this. We have a 3-1 count right now. Dean Kramer, 127 BAA. Ryu OPS in the first inning, which is both lowest in the MLB. And a swing. This goes to short. That brings us to the middle of the first. Is Gunnar Henderson with a quick throw to first to go 1, 2, 3 and out.
I'll be excited, Alec, to go ahead and watch the O's. Again, I haven't had a chance to see them too many times this year. I know Eloy Jimenez, former White Sox, he's now a member of the O's as well. But good to see Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson 2 and 3. And then Anthony Santander, boy, oh boy, his batting average at 236, but 38 bombs. In fact, Gunnar Henderson and Santander 33 and 38. You got a lot of power in that part of the order. So you got to be very careful on the other side if you're Houston.
We have hit or miss batters, but can be definitely explosive like Santander. It kind of reminds you of Kyle Schwarber in a sense when you're watching Santander.
Yeah, he can strike out a little bit. He might get some walks there, but he can definitely lay the lumber, and he's done that a lot. And yeah, that's what they really wanted, to be able to get some other power in that middle of the order, and they definitely have that. Again, you got to, I wouldn't say baby Colton Cowser a little bit because he's 24, but he's still a rookie. You have to have some protection in that lineup. Again, it makes sense to bring in Eloy Jimenez, and I think Baltimore is going to be pretty good. Again, as we talked about, though, especially going in from last year, I just wonder if they're too young to be able to go ahead and try to win it all. But I do think that they're going to be dangerous, although that does put a lot of pressure on guys like Corbin Burns, doesn't it? And that pitching staff's got to lock it down.
You get Corbin Burns in the offseason, you're in good hands. You get your ace pitcher, your number one guy. You wonder, however, if they're too young to make a deep run, which is my main concern about them, which it may be one big reason why they're in a neck-and-neck battle with the Yankees for first in the AL East. Though I am curious about this decision of putting Austin Slater as the leadoff batter.
Yeah, he had that the last couple games, again, with the pitching staff, maybe some of the other stuff there that might be Baltimore's little bit of weakness, but they'll be around for a long time. Let's get to look at the veteran now. Yusei Kikuchi, again with the Blue Jays, now with the Astros. They mentioned a lot more sliders, a little bit less curveballs here with Houston.
Don't forget that Baltimore has Cedric Mullins at their disposal if they need to slot him in any situation late in the game for a clutch run.
Absolutely. He's one of the best for a long time.
First spin strike on the slider at 88. That's something that Kikuchi has done more and more in Houston, as we mentioned again.
And again, for Kikuchi, I'll get into his pitch selection in a minute, but 70% fastball curve, according to Baseball Savant. So primarily a two-pitch pitcher, although he does feature 5.
620 OPS for Slater with 15 RBI. He has 2 home runs. His issue to put him as the leadoff batter still is curious as Kikuchi delays and a big swing and miss 90 on the slider.
A lot of movement there so far. Has been able to throw these sliders all around the strike zone, but just 5 pitches into his day as we're at Camden Yards in Baltimore.
Slider 89, so it's low. 2-2 now the count. If Houston, they're in a position where they can be at the lead in the AL West. Though it's uncharacteristic of us seeing them potentially playing on Wild Card Weekend, because at our times watching the Astros, they have never played over Wild Card Weekend. This would bow to the right.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, Alec. I mean, the AL West, I know the Rangers, we saw them win the World Series last year, but that division, it seemed like it was going to be wide open until the Mariners just absolutely collapsed.
Ooh, that was not good. And they fired Scott Service on the other hand. As this one fell again, they fired Scott Service, and he gets replaced by former Mariners catcher Dan Wilson.
I want to ask you this too, because I know we'll get to this point. I'll let you jump on the play-by-play. I guess I went to the break.
2-2 count for Yusei Kikuchi as everyone gets set back. And some passionate fans over here at Camden Yards, over Baltimore in the downtown area. Those Maryland crab cakes taste delicious. This fastball is fouled to right again.
I was going to say, we mentioned the seats as far as the fans that are in there, and there are passionate fans that are already there, but where's everybody else?
Saving their time up for playoffs, perhaps, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, this almost looks like a spring training crowd.
Kikuchi delays. It's a change of an 85. It does look like a spring training crowd from what it is, but the seats over the back half filled up.
Go ahead.
Count throw. It's up. Over to center field. A run for it. Is it going to get there? It is. Chaz McCormick gets there first.
Very good play there for Chaz. He didn't want to step all over him, and that was hit right toward the gap. He goes all the way over from right center field and makes the catch. Again, for Chaz, one of those guys that doesn't hit that high batting average, but you know exactly what you're going to get from defense, Alec, and that was pretty tremendous.
Defense race at a premium here, and Houston knows it with Chaz and Mauricio Dubon, with both chasing after Chaz. Calls for it. The distance cover was 88 feet on that. Ball one, just outside top left corner. The umpire double-checked it to confirm.
Adley Rutschman, again, first look for me for him, 26-year-old, 265 average switch hitter. Kind of do everything, and he's always behind the plate. He is an absolute star.
And that was at the bottom line. That was perfect for UC.
Yeah, you would think for Adley, you might get the call there as a catcher to the home plate umpire. He did not get that there.
Mark Ripperger was not getting it nice to him that time. Rutschman badly swings and misses.
I think we're going to have a pitch comm issue here, so that's going to allow you to take a step. They're going to get their signal now and get squared away.
They're discussing right now what is the play next up on what type of pitch could be. Well, you know about everything that is this disposal between Houston and everything, but it's ball two, bottom right. It was more towards the dirt that time.
He just spiked the slider there.
And Mark Ripperger, our home plate umpire, Alex McKay, our first base umpire, Lance Barrett, and Roberto Ortiz, umpires the second and third. Ground end to short. Jeremy Pena takes care of it, and a quick throw to first to put Rutschman away.
That was a nice play there. Pretty easy one there for Pena. And again, it's going to bring up Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Wood Jr. in that same draft. Boy, if you want to draft shortstops, absolutely hit home runs with that. 33 bombs for Gunnar.
Yeah, one of those guys in which we can talk of most home runs by switch hitter. That's the guy after Gunnar Henderson. Anthony Santander. He has 37 of those. First pitch. Whoa, that was closer towards Henderson. It didn't hit him, though.
Bit him on the inside.
Yeah, it was closer to his head and less towards the left wide. That is the 1-0, 15 pitches into Kikuchi's day. Henderson goes up high. Is this deep enough? McCormick didn't move much. No, sir. That ends the first.
Pretty good first inning. Again, we go order for order on both sides, but a couple hard hit balls there from Rutschman and Henderson in the mix, and Chaz McCormick plays some good defense, so I'll be interested to see what happens here in this second. I do have a couple bits of history. I'm sure Alec probably talked about this a little bit joining in here first. I usually join just before game time, but here's a trivia. So for those that want to play Major League Baseball trivia or they're fans of Jeopardy, we're going to have history on Monday. 2 months from the day from a rainout from June 26, August 26 tomorrow. You know, MLB's over 100 years old, but we're going to see history for the first time on Monday as Red Sox catcher Danny Jansen will be playing in a resume game against the Toronto Blue Jays. Why is that history? He'll be the first player ever to play for both teams in the same game.
Universal catcher, I believe. that sounds nice for Danny Jansen to get the opportunity to play for both the Red Sox and the Blue Jays in the same game. That feels nice for him.
Yeah, I don't know how this continues to happen, Alec, but again, as we go through sports, we talk about records, they're made to be broken. You see history all the time, but considering how old Major League Baseball is, to have something like that never happened before. Again, this game's well over 100 years old. That's a pretty cool moment. And again, that's something that will be a Jeopardy question forever.
It will. I do mean to ask you this, John, because of what happened last weekend. How was MIS, by the way?
Oh, okay. So the first day for me, I'll just tell you, it was rained out pretty much after 57 laps, and then we didn't make the trip back on Monday. I've had 2 years in a row now where it's been rained out on the first day. Unfortunate.
Well, at least you got to see one of the better drivers at MIS win, and that's one of Michael Jordan's drivers, Tyler Reddick.
Yes, I saw that. I saw and heard that Michael Jordan was there the first day when I was there. He did not make the trip back for the next day, but yes, he did win. And that when you get a win, it automatically puts you in the playoffs.
That was the case for Harrison Burton yesterday, which exposed the loophole about the winning in playoff hole. Because I was really hoping that Kyle Busch gets a win at Daytona National Speedway, but for Burton, that's his first ever career win, the Cup Series. Gotta give him a shout out.
Absolutely. So first pitch, essentially, Jeremy Pena is going to fly right out to Colton Cowser. And they're going to show this in the mix of ESPN. I know I might be just a little bit ahead of Alec. Don't show this graphic to Cooper Hopkins. My God, the AL West playoff odds and those squiggly lines for Seattle continue to just go down and down.
And you wonder what is the solution here for the Mariners with Dan Wilson as the manager. Usually, when you go after a catcher as your manager, that would be best case scenario because usually catchers make better managers.
And you know what? I mean, it's got to be frustrating because you have the best pitching staff in all of baseball as far as starters, but you got guys that strike out so many times. Again, we talked about it a few weeks ago when we covered one of those games with the M's. And then now the bullpen on the back end starting to struggle. So I don't know what the solution is right now. And I guess better luck next year. But, sometimes certain teams just get tired of saying that.
Yeah, it feels like a same old narrative.
So Victor Caratini, couple curveballs for Kramer. It's 2-1 the count. He's 15 pitches into his day. John Eder with you alongside Alec Nava. He's got the video feed on this side. It's not that I don't want to turn on my camera, but all you'd be seeing is my ceiling because I can't mount the phone. So that's why we got the YouTube side there for me. So we got it both covered there regardless of the space, the YouTube side, anything else. We're all streaming in and following this on Sunday Night Baseball. 3-1. Caratini goes way outside the zone. It's going to be a full count.
So 3-1 on this count on the outside. That usually may be danger if you don't want to go ahead and,
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and drive the ball, it gives you an opportunity. But this one is going to be spiked in the dirt with a splitter, and Caratini is going to get the first on base for either team right now, as they're showing pictures in between Brandon Hyde and Joe Espada. A couple of managers on both sides. They're both members of the Marlins.
Usually when you look at it, between Brandon Hyde and Joe Espada, they know each other are nicely dating back to days from the Marlins. I wonder what year those are because I haven't started watching baseball by then. But is it the days of the Florida Marlins or the early years of the Miami Marlins?
That's what I'm wondering as well, because when you think about the Marlins and winning the World Series alongside Jim Leland, I don't think it was that staff. It could have been the Marlins team that was struggling a little bit, as it's 1-0. This is a four-seam outside the zone. Make it 2-0 against Ben Gamble.
Gamble with a 290 batting average as we get Ian on board. How are you doing?
Doing good, gentlemen. Actually, so as a coach, I'm looking it up real quick. Joe Espada was actually there for, he was there for both iterations of the Marlins, but the late Florida and early Miami, he was there from 2010 to 2013. Let me look up Brandon Hyde. real quick, but Joe Espada was there for both iterations technically.
So we could be talking about guys like Hanley Ramirez, JT Real Muto, that kind of situation.
Yeah, both. So sorry to put you out there, but as a coach and as a manager, Brandon Hyde was with the Florida Marlins 2010 and 2011. He actually wasn't there. He actually wasn't there for any of the Miami Marlins.
It was early, but yeah, we saw Gamble just go.
Oh my goodness! Strike him out, throw him out! What a play!
Haven't seen it yet. Sign behind on it. Oh wow! Oh wow! It's a 2 outs and 1. That's a beautiful way to bring this to the middle of the second. Strikeout and a throw out as we had a stolen base attempt in which he was going over to second. Mr. Splash is going up. Is Victor Caratini trying to steal second base. And as Ben Gamble struck out, Caratini wanted to steal second. Not so fast, says the second baseman, Jackson Holiday.
Yeah, that was a really good curveball there for Kramer to throw that in. That was toward the right side of the box. It was really too close to take. It was a pitch on the edge, but definitely a strike. And that was a pretty good throw on the other side. So you get a chance to see the arm from Adley Rutschman. He's definitely got that there. And it will bring up the Baltimore Orioles in the bottom of the second as we're scoreless and go to break.
So I do know about the scores that we saw today. The Diamondbacks, you covered one of those games between the D-backs and the Red Sox. The Diamondbacks take today 7-5 thanks to Eugenio Suarez, former Mariner, of a 3-run home run.
He just had 5 RBI the other day in a grand slam.
Yep.
He's on fire. Yeah, he's on fire right now. So I'm happy for the former Detroit Tiger there. And I mentioned alongside with Ian, and now that he's in here, Alec, and said that Diamondbacks, because we talk about it with Christian Walker, Ketel Marte, Gabriel Moreno, they're coming back. And that's going to make it very interesting. Should I be able to join you on Friday? I'm pretty much going to lock that one in for Dodgers Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks look very scary right now.
Hey, Alec. So I'm gonna some classes start tomorrow for me, but I will be able to join you a little bit for game 1 of Royals and Guardians tomorrow. A little bit in the early going, and if the game is still going on around 3 o'clock, I'll be able to join you for the final part of it.
I got you.
They got a doubleheader going on tomorrow, don't they?
That's a doubleheader, so I'm covering game 1. That's the afternoon game.
Yeah. And now that oh man. On the subject of let's see, where they started the bottom they started the bottom of the second. I'll hold off on my comments until this is done.
So Anthony Santander went on a 1-1. First second pitch was way high out of the zone. And now a changeup spiked in the dirt, make it 2-1 on Anthony.
Santander, he's one of those better switch hitters. He has 38 home runs. I was one off of the number of home runs in which they show 37, which I thought it was, but 38.
95 on the fastball. So the velocity difference right now, we're going to mention this with Yusei Kikuchi. I got a moment. Pretty much around 95 to 83 on the splits. And the mix it with the changeup and the curve. The curve is the one that goes all the way to 83. Santander will take this just shy of the right side warning track. No problem. Make the catch.
So no issue there for Ben Gamble at the right field. He is in relief of Kyle Tucker at right field. That's his natural spot. Just not deep enough to make it over the warning tracks.
Yeah, there's been about 3 or 4 of those right now, gentlemen, that have been somewhat close. But again, if you get toward that right field side, it'd be easy to bank it off the scoreboard here in Camden Yards. Nelson Cruz knows a lot about that. He spent a long time in Baltimore. This will bring up the former White Sox, Eloy Jimenez. I have to imagine that's quite a thrill going from the White Sox to the Baltimore Orioles.
And with the number 72, which would be a number that I would not expect a DH to wear as he takes ball one on the left side. But usually, you don't see a number this high for a DH. Well, unless you play for the Yankees, that is.
Yeah, it's absolutely true there. And again, we talk about the seats. You might see that amount of seats in a White Sox game that are empty, but we have a curious amount of seats. I have to say it again in Baltimore as far as this being empty. When this is Sunday Night Baseball between Baltimore and Houston, you think that this would absolutely be sold out. I kind of wonder what's going on over there. 2-1. Eloy Jimenez will follow a 96-mile-an-hour fastball down the first base line. We'll do it again.
I wonder if the Orioles fans are also preparing for the Baltimore Ravens season as we saw that foul ball. I wonder if there's preparation for the Ravens season, if they're going to go to Kansas City for that Chiefs game.
That would make a lot of sense. You're definitely talking about something. I think that makes a lot of sense as this goes down the right field line. I will ask you a football question once we get to the end of this inning. It was a sliding play. I did not see it because the camera didn't cut from Zach DeCenzo. So Jimenez is going to follow this one off toward the first base line, and now they showed DeCenzo. He makes a running stab at it, and he actually catches the thing.
He really tracked that one nice as he saw this one lining over beyond the foul line, tracked it, ran over to his left. He chased that one down. Once he saw it in his line of vision, he didn't just let that one slide. He ran after it.
That's a really good play on a foul ball. Again, if the ESPN camera cut wasn't a little bit live during the live call they had, I would have been able to call that right away. Colton Cowser, 89 on a slider. It's now 1-1.
Colton Cowser, who we're profiling as he was the next man up once Austin Hayes got traded to Philadelphia. When we saw that 1-1, the slider to the right. It's a little low. He is among the rookie home run leaders this season, up there with Jackson Merrill, 19 each.
That's pretty good power numbers. Again, another Jackson Churio, someone who could definitely go get it for the Milwaukee Brewers. I'd like the chance to check them out one time. Half-hearted swing there for Cowser. Makes it 1-2. Kikuchi tries to go 15-15 as far as the pitch count. Not going to be able to do it now, as this slider will miss outside the zone. Make it 2-2.
So we mentioned Yusei Kikuchi. I feel it was on the wrong end of the stick with that little pitching gaffe that John Schneider made. Right, subbing out Jose Barrios for Yusei Kikuchi. And that one game against the Minnesota Twins, a little bit of overthinking, and that's not us. Swipe over at Kikuchi because he is talented his own right.
Yes.
But still, you're not wanting to take out Barrios in any usual sense.
No, again, that's not something that they're going to be able to live down for a while. But at least Kikuchi now gets another opportunity here with the Houston Astros. They badly need starting pitching. This is fouled off. This will still go pretty far towards center field, but no problem there. Chaz underneath it, makes the catch, and my time in the second inning is done. We're still scoreless.
Had power on it, just not enough to get it all the way down to center. As you see that left marker at 4 and 10 feet with Jazz McCormick, he was standing there waiting for that was in his line of sight. Zach DeCenzo, Mauricio Devon, Jazz McCormick.
So let me ask you this, Alec. Again, I thought about some of the football things, and I know that the Lions, they finished up their preseason game with your Steelers. But let me ask you this, week 1, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, who are you taking?
I'm still taking Justin Fields if we're looking at the long-term side. You know, you're banking on what he could be, honestly, because nothing's guaranteed with Fields, but he has the higher upside between him and Russell Wilson. Wilson, I feel like he is reaching the end of his career, if we're being in all honesty. Fields has the longer-term upside, so I don't know how much higher he can go. He has the running ability to complement him. So if you're looking at the throwing motion, I just wonder if it's there at first glance.
I'm going to say 100% I agree with you in totality of where it's going to go. We'll see if it does happen in week 1. I think they might go week 1 with Russell Wilson, but the long-term answer would be Fields. He's got more to show. you could do a lot worse as far as the quarterback situation. I know Mike Tomlin's been there forever. I respect the hell out of him. I'd like to see Pittsburgh do something, and I hope it doesn't have all the pressure on the shoulders there of T.J. Watt. We want to see these quarterbacks do something and get the job done.
Yeah, we should. And how about for the Lions on the other hand?
We'll see. As long as Jared Goff doesn't get injured, I feel like they're good, but they do not have a backup quarterback to speak of.
Hendon Hooker?
I'm not sure that's going to last, Alec. I'll just be honest with you. I think they're an injury away from something really bad. I know that's how it is for most teams, but that's just where I'm at right now.
That's fair. So as we got the camera angles back over at the stadium as we are focused, that is, on the number 7, Jackson Holiday, as they're opening up the questions for Jackson Holiday on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. That is a nice number 7. He could get an uptick on those batting averages. He's at a 175 batting average as it is this far, but he can use some improvements over those numbers. It's always up from here for the rookies. First pitch swing over to the right. This is going to be a tough play to first. Got him!
Be able to get all the way over there was Yusei Kikuchi. Again, this ball gets hit right through the infield from DeCenzo. It gets away just underneath the glove from Rivera, but Holiday was right there and right on cue. You do the interview and you make the play. How nice.
That was not easy to make, as it was the run after from as Rivera could not pick it up. Holiday was able to help him out with the throw to Dean Kramer, that is.
So interesting. Again, I looked at Kramer's numbers again over the last few have not been good, but the last couple of starts, just 2 earned runs in the last 2 games. I know small sample size, but keep that in mind as we look at 2 pitchers today with ERAs over 4.30.
Here's the second throw. It is 1-1 now, low line. Kind of confused Mauricio Dubon as it was 1-1 on the count.
Able to hang with an off-speed pitch there. Again, trying to mix it in for both of these starters right now. It kind of looks like they're jumping on that curveball. They want to see curveball changeup.
Let's go O's chance here in Baltimore. That was before that foul ball. It's now a 1-2 count up against Mauricio Dubon, who is batting at 248. Yeah, this pair of pitchers that we're seeing, you nailed it. They're sitting around the 430, 425 ERA mark. Here's the 1-2, and that's to the left sinker at 94.
Again, now they're showing wedding photos for Jackson Holiday, so they're really giving him some looks as this one. I'll let you take the call.
Oh, those wedding photos. They never get old. Now the 2-2 is this is lined over to right. Does this make it far enough? No, it is beyond the foul ball line. We'll have to do this one again.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure my TV is not up too loud so we can keep these calls in here, but they were asking him who's the life of the party. Honestly, from the couple of the photos that Alec and I saw, you could put everybody there, but Jackson Holiday looks like a John Travolta.
We have another foul ball as we speak of Jackson Holiday. It feels like he is coming off one of those parties in college.
And he's definitely enjoying himself right now. He just turned 20 years of age. Again, the son of Matt Holliday, the MLB great.
Wow, that was awfully close to a strike, but it was just on the outside left. It becomes a full count. So close for Dean Kramer as he's going to get set for the full count throw. And here it comes. This is up high. Not going to go anywhere. It is going to go over to the stands above the safety net.
Yeah, I'll say, Alec, you want to make sure you do not take that pitch again if you see that there, because that would definitely be called a strike.
Yeah, you do not want to take that one up high on any circumstance. This is going to the left. On the back up, it will be a base hit.
Pretty good at bat there from Mauricio Dubon. I think he got a little fortunate there for that last pitch he took, able to handcuff that thing just over the shortstop side of Gunnar Henderson and get a base hit.
And you see Jackson and Ethan Holiday playing some golf, baseball, and even some ping pong over the Orioles practice facility.
It's going to bring up Chas McCormick, and then we'll get a chance to cycle back through the order for the first time.
It'll be Jose Altuve on deck, barring a double play, as Jackson Holiday is still watching outwards at second base. 0-1 as he took strike one. We'll do this one over again. Here's the 0-1. McCormick fouls to left. Splitter 83. It's now 0-2.
So we'll see what happens with that 192 batting average. That means you get a couple hits. You bring that one past 200. He's got 67 strikeouts in a limited amount of games this year.
First disengagement used by Chas McCormick as he is going to get reset at the plate. Getting set for the 0-2 count pitch from Dean Kramer. 191 batting average. What kind of throw is it going to be? Here it comes. Oh, he got him. Top left corner. It was going to be called a strike anyway, even if McCormick swung at it.
We're going to say the same thing that we just mentioned, everybody listening in. You had the top right part of the box. That was called the ball. This time you got top left. It was in the zone, too close to take. Chas McCormick caught looking.
Yeah, he's not the happiest of the bunch here. He wanted that to not be the call. He wanted to get that to call towards him, but not that time. Altuve foul shot to tip his bat. It's behind Adley Rutschman for an 0-1.
Jose Altuve still got a lot of power. He's got 18 pops. In the Camden Yards, you can definitely drive one, especially toward right field.
18 home runs on the year with 56 RBI. As two behind the second place on the home run leaderboard in Houston, Alex Bregman. Yordan Alvarez, who was sitting out for today, he has 25 as Altuve swung and missed on the cutter.
Alec, just say this honestly. It looks like Altuve's taken some uncomfortable swings here early, hasn't he?
Yeah, it has. Even if he has the highest batting average among players in any ballpark, in any specific ballpark, he is looking rather uncomfortable here today or tonight. Swing and a miss on the splitter.
Man.
Looking at another uncomfortable swing there for Altuve, as you mentioned.
A little bit late on that one. Again, a couple of the pitches that we talked about. Altuve, let's just say through a couple of bats, maybe only featured 8 or 9 pitches. They haven't been long at bats. And you have a slider outside the zone, maybe about 5-6 inches off the plate. You don't see Altuve offer at that too much. He's already done that 3 times in this game, and he's already punched out now as we go to the bottom 3.
3 times already. We're back in.
So I was gonna say, Alec, I saw that Michael A. Taylor got sent out on outright waiver for the Pirates.
And just right when we locked it up on the Cincinnati Reds with Grandal getting the 2-run home run, I was not expecting Michael A. Taylor to be on this list.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, in a heartbeat, I would have the Royals pick him up right now, because outside of our primary center fielder, Kyle Isbell, was decent enough bat and great defense, our backup center fielder is Garrett Hampson. And to give you an idea of just how Garrett Hampson is, here's a tweet. Here's the data. Since June 27th, Garrett Hampson, in 107 plate appearances, is batting 174 and slugging 263. Let's see. Let me do a quick calculation here. Let's see. 72, 58. We are 130 games in. We have 32 games left, and this man is hitting 174 since June 7th and slugging 263. He makes horrible mistakes on the base pass, usually involving him being out on the base path. He makes critical mistakes out in the field, and most of the time when he gets on, it's because he does it on a bunt single because he's just that fast. But good Lord, if he hits it into the outfield, you're always shaking in your boots that he's going to get thrown out at second or third because he doesn't know, because he's not smart on the base paths. So yeah, I would take Michael A. Taylor in a heartbeat.
Well, it'll be good if you manage to get Michael A. Taylor to add on to your outfield if you want that batting and to go upwards for the Royals and for that push to the playoffs. That's what it matters. 3-0 now on the count. 3 balls, no strikes for Ramon Urias. Or is that Rivera, actually? That is Rivera.
Yep. You got Emmanuel Rivera.
Rivera, we're seeing. Jumped ahead of time as ESPN was showing. Well, 4 straight balls for Emmanuel Rivera. Now that puts Ramon Urias at the plate with Rivera at first.
Absolutely, Alec. And none of those pitches were remotely close.
Even so, Rivera's batting .213 and didn't even get a chance to swing at it because of those 4 straight balls.
Urias is one of those guys, to me, Alec, that can definitely put bet on baseball. As emphasized, 87 games, just 46 strikeouts. So he is going to put it in play. You got to be mindful behind you of that double play defense.
How in the world is that a strike? That was above the zone. They called it strike 1 on a slider.
Alec, I thought that was a mistake on ESPN side.
I mean, how in the world does that even happen? I thought the umpiring was past this. I guess not, is that we have that foul ball.
Yeah, it's going to make the play for robot umps.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. There needs to be a tracker of some sort. Say, swing and a miss. At that time, it counts. And Kikuchi made sure that.
Well, I gave the announcer jinx to Ramon Urias. Doesn't normally strike out, but maybe he was flabbergasted on the first strike call. Here's Jackson Holliday.
He's batting .175, though batting averages can go up with time. As mentioned, we talked about Yordan Alvarez over the NLCS. He's going smoothly here with Philadelphia for his batting average.
And Jackson Holliday, again, as you mentioned, he did get the game winner just the other time. So it's about the timely hits that matter the most for the 20-year-old.
It's those little things that matter the most. Now look to be inside the first pitch on the right line, decide to let him get a friendly call. So ball 1, and that disengagement for Kikuchi took way too long.
Yes, it did. He had to reset there on the pitch clock.
He tried to pick up Emmanuel Rivera at first. So that is one of the 2 disengagements in which he can use here. So now he delays, and Holliday fouls on that second throw. 1-1.
Be interested to see his approach and the way that it grows throughout his career. Again, his dad played with a lot of power, a good corner infielder as well. Jackson Holliday in on the infield. Seems like he's got a lot of speed, a lot of tools. Again, the top pick not that long ago. Spencer Torkelson was a top pick not that long ago for the Tigers. So sometimes it takes a little bit to be able to get going.
And with momentum, it can come a huge boost. Not that time around. It's 1-2 onto the bottom side on the fastball 96. It's 1-2 heading into this next pitch where Jackson Holliday was recently interviewed by ESPN. Just this game, here's the 1-2. Spike to the dirt. And that rushed Caratini to get the ball. So that's a waste on base.
Yeah, good block there for Caratini, making sure that they got everything in front of him.
Yep. Just to get everything cleared up. So Holliday, who was 20 years old, he was the first overall pick 2 years ago. And now he's getting his first look in Baltimore action. This grounded into second. This is going to be a tough play. Well, that double play was nowhere there.
Yeah, no chance there. Pena to Altuve for the flip. By the time they're able to get that toss over, a la Derek Jeter style, Jackson Holliday already touched the bag.
Yeah, at least Emmanuel Rivera is thrown out at second. So replace Rivera with Holliday over at first, and that would make it something there for Baltimore, but that's double play nowhere close. It was a tough play for Altuve.
Yeah, there was no chance to really turn in here. It's going to leave it up to Austin Slater. I know you mentioned it. Just 66 games between San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. Batting average pretty good, but curious as he's in the top spot. See if he can come through early.
And you saw the look on my face. Yeah, that umpiring about the strike zone has me questioning it sometimes. They went to the left side that time round, and it wasn't even inside. This time it's a swing and a miss, and 97 on that. Exit velocity 95.3 on the flyout for Austin Slater. He is the leadoff batter for Baltimore. We'll see if he can get it the next time round. This is an 0-2 count. The O's down to their final out. This is up high. It goes to right, but it's not going to get far. Tracking this perfectly was Ben Gamble at right field, and that wraps up the third.
Yeah, took a couple extra steps there to make sure he can get it in the breadbasket, as you mentioned. Just one hit so far, just for Houston. So it's been very quiet so far in this game, and we'll see what happens as we get to the top of the order here for both squads. Again, see if we can get some offense. Again, I mentioned this going into it, especially to the game. You got Altuve, Bregman, Diaz, Pena on the top. The bottom portion of the Astros lineup looks a little bit light. The Orioles across the board's probably spread out well, but it seems so far that Dean Kramer and Yusei Kikuchi might be on their game.
If they may be. And while the Astros, they don't really have a true ace onto their lineup because of the order that which they sent out.
Sure.
They're hoping that one of these guys can stand out. It feels like it's a by committee approach among this lineup because Justin Verlander, he's aging and maybe approaching the end of his career. Framber Valdez, you're thinking if he can return to form.
Yeah.
Yusei Kikuchi, he may be a nice option right behind Valdez if he can get going. And not to mention that Spencer Arrighetti, he had a good game the other day against Baltimore.
Yeah, and you mentioned alongside Arrighetti, who's been in a pretty good year. They didn't really expect that, kind of came out of nowhere. And then honestly, Alec, if they didn't make the trade for Kikuchi, you've been talking about some of the pitching staff being a little bit light. Again, you got Hunter Brown, the Wayne State product. You mentioned Verlander as well. Verlander, I still feel, and this is not my Detroit bias, but I think if you get into the postseason, I think he can get you a solid 5 and keep you in the game. I think I would have to say that at least, but the Houston Astros don't have that same type of pitching staff that they used to. Again, they're waiting on Yordan Alvarez, who's just day-to-day, and Kyle Tucker. And then on the back end, I still think they're missing Ryan Presley as well. So when they do get some of these players back, they're going to be getting some stars back. They just got to hang in here.
Yeah, several guys that we also have to mention outside of Presley and Alvarez. Christian Javier is still on the 60-day injury list for Houston. So that's one big piece that they are missing over at the pitching staff for Javier. He went through Tommy John surgery back in June, so we don't know if he's coming back for the year.
No, Christian Javier, I can officially give you a word there, is done. He will not come back. Again, they shut him down. They mentioned alongside Felix Bautista, he's throwing on the mound. There's a pitch that goes way back toward left field, but caught at the wall. Alex Bregman gave it a ride, but it was caught.
Well, it was way back towards the warning tracks, and that's a nice track over the backfield and left field by Austin Slater. It was interesting of him putting at the leadoff batter, but Slater at times showed his defensive capabilities there.
Yeah, he definitely did. Again, we just talked about Justin Verlander. That one was at 381 feet, 23 out of 30 ballparks would have called that a home run. Again, Justin Verlander, despite getting up there in age, probably 43, 44, with the amount of Tommy Johns, the amount of repairs, the injuries, alongside from Detroit and Houston, I think his arm is probably in late 30s shape rather than middle 40s. I will say that. He can definitely still throw. A lollipop curveball. This one is high up in the zone as it'll leave it up to Yainer Diaz. It's 2-0.
For Justin Verlander, it is something we're seeing with him. For all those surgeries that he had, he's still over it in some form with how much he has left.
Yes.
I don't know what is the case for him after if or when he retires, but perhaps in a role as a pitching coach, maybe.
If he wants to. I mean, he's got his children and he's got Kate Upton, so I wouldn't imagine he's going to be busy either way, and he'll be happy either way. So good for Justin.
I can see his jersey. I could see his jersey being retired in Detroit and Houston.
You know what? Honestly, Alec, I would feel sour grapes if it got retired in Houston, but honestly, he won a World Series there. He's got another no-hitter there as well. He's got 3 in his career. It's very possible he retires as a Houston Astros. So for any Tigers fans, just be prepared. That's all I'll say.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about Justin Verlander here?
Yes, because they are talking to him on ESPN right now.
Right. Actually, unless I'm mistaken, I think he won 2 World Series with the Astros.
Yeah, you got 2, yes.
Yeah.
So he never was able to get that with the Tigers when they had that pitching staff. So if I'm Justin, I think Houston's probably the one that I call home and get that jersey retired there. But I'm just saying it that way. Yainer Diaz, this one popped up in the air. Who wants it? Kramer's just going to get the heck out of the way. And this time Rivera makes the catch in the infield.
It's a fight for who wants this ball over the infield whenever usually it's 3 guys over the same side. And Kramer's just let his infielders do the work. Emmanuel Rivera this time around. It was between Rivera, Kramer, and Holiday for that, no matter. But whoever gets it, well, you're the winner.
Yeah, congratulations. You get a pop field fly, and it's 48 pitches right now alongside for Dean Kramer. So he's been rolling quite well, and this looks good for the pitching staff. Again, we talk about who could be available in the back end bullpen going forward. It's a good look right now for both of these starters as Pena takes strike 1 inside.
That was rather cheeky there, as it was just a little to the right. Could easily have been a ball, though, John.
Yes, it has. I think the strike zone has been a little bit flighty here on the inside or outside, maybe a couple baseball whiffs from the top left or top right inside, bottom right, bottom left. I'd say a couple baseball whips across. You got to be careful. If it's somewhat close, you got to swing. Pena is going to swing and put this one towards center field. They're going to have to play it off the roll. He's got a base hit.
I'm yet to see this, but that was right between the gap between second and short. That was a good line drive right between said gap between Holiday and Henderson to split the two of them. Aimed at that area nicely, not too far so as to get the attention of Coach Calder at center field. That would get it easier for him. That way, you make life easier for the at-bats.
I will say this too. I know I mentioned with Arias on one side, it brings up Victor Caratini for the Astros. Just 30 strikeouts for him, so another bat-to-ball situation. Last time I mentioned that Arias punched out, but expect this to be put in play. Again for Kramer, maybe some of the off-speed pitches, change up, curveball, try to pound it in the dirt and get the out from second or short. We'll see which way it goes. It's 0-1. He's 52 pitches into his day. This one is going to be a cue shot. Off the end of the bat, they're going to get the runner to third. I don't know if they're going to be able to score. Here's the play at the plate, and they can't get the throw there in time. Jeremy Pena scores from first, and the Astros take the lead.
The speed that Jeremy Pena possesses very much of the key that Houston wants to get on the board as Justin Verlander. He's still chatting with ESPN, but Pena showed his speed there with Caratini getting that RBI base hit to deep center. Once Pena saw this, he took off knowing that he could have a chance to get over the home. The throw was not there on time. He took off beforehand. The initial plan was for him to steal second base. The third base coach for Houston said, keep going, keep going. That he did. And the throw to Rutschman was a little too late.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Alec, because I was going to say the same thing. It looked like they already had a hit and run on there for Joe Espada. It makes a lot of sense. You do that there. Pena's got a lot of wheels. And he scores from first off a single, kind of off the edge of the bat there for Victor Caratini, but he was able to just cue shot the thing from left center field and score the first run of this game. Ben Gamble now follows it back. It's 1-1.
It was nice of Pena to get the wheels running. We speak of guys over who can steal bases that easily. Ellie De La Cruz, Ronald Acuna Jr., Shohei Ohtani, who just joined the 40-40 club. Yep. Well, Jeremy Pena showed what he can do. After all, his wheels make him one of the reasons why he won World Series MVP 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's a really good defensive player. He's got a lot of speed. He's got 15 bags so far this year, so that's pretty good. Altuve's got 18. There's not a lot of guys that run too much, so Pena's got to be able to use the tools that he has, and the speed there, he definitely showcased it. 1-2. This is a curveball way inside, make it 2-2. As Kramer's only given up his first run, as you mentioned, in the last 2 starts, he's given up 1 run in each game, and he's up against it right now, but it is Ben Gamble. We talk about the bottom of the order here for the Astros might not bring a lot of damage here. This is 94. This is another flare that's going to drop in, and Kramer's got to be saying, are you kidding me?
I haven't seen it yet. Was this going to... Oh, my goodness, the Houston Astros, they may be getting this open here. So it's a 2-out situation, 1 out away from putting this inning to the bottom. And Dean Kramer's internally starting to get frustrated now that we have runners over at first and second. With Gamble versus Caratini at second. And I feel the frustration is starting to mount here. Just as we're speaking of Pena, who took almost 9 seconds to go from first to home on the run.
Yeah, you talk about it. I don't think that any of these pitches are bad, but you're just able to get bat on ball enough to get it to where the infielders aren't. They always talk about putting it in play. That's exactly what Houston's doing right now. It could be a singles to death at this point. It's just 1 run. It is 2 outs, so Kramer can easily get out of this. Zach DeCenzo made a really good defensive play last time up. He's going to drive this one toward left. It's going to go off the wall. This is going to score a run. They're trying to send the next one to the plate. This is going to score 2, and DeCenzo's got a double.
Oh, the floodgates are opening here for Houston. The RBI double for Zach DeCenzo. We speak of the bottom of the order. Now they have shown up to play. His batting average is now up, and Justin Verlander, he's doing a little hand gesture that's very common over in Italy. But DeCenzo has got the Astros up 3 here. Baltimore is really putting themselves onto the back of the wall here. DeCenzo saw that. That's the pitch that he likes. Onto the throw, and that gets it over to deep left, off the wall, far enough so where that the left fielder, Austin Slater, does not get put in a position where he can catch this.
Let me tell you this, Alec. Again, I mentioned the last couple pitches, maybe cue shots that fell in. This one was a fastball. It was high left in the zone. DeCenzo was ready for it. He hit it at 110 miles an hour exit velocity, and that's why it went across the wall. And now they're laughing with Justin Verlander as he's doing some gestures there, and they're enjoying it. 3 runs here for the Houston Astros, and now Kramer, he's really needing to stop the bleeding here as it'll bring up Mauricio Dubon. He's 1 for 1 so far in this game as he takes a strike.
I thought there was some sort of a mound meeting beforehand. I don't know what the case is between him and French, but either way, he's got to stop the bleeding. The first pitch strike could help. Could be the key word.
Dubon's going to show bunt with 2 outs. Curious there, as now it's 0-2.
So as for Dean Kramer, well, that bunted foul may be something as well. We see Dubon, he's trying to go for those bunts. We usually don't see these a lot, but if you're wanting to advance the runners more, you're wanting to put yourself in a position where you want to advance the runners without getting an out here if you're going for the bunt.
Yeah, absolutely, Alec. In a situation now where the count is, you're not going to do that, but I kind of wonder if Dubon caught some of these infielders playing deep, trying to think he can get a cheap hit here. At least they maybe have to reposition everything. This curveball is way outside. Make it 1-2. All of a sudden, Kramer's pitch count's elevated. This time at 64. Pitch clock down to 3 as he gets set to deliver. Fastball. That was a good swing for Dubon, but he puts it back on the first baseline. We'll do it again at 1-2.
1-2 on the count with the ball 1 on that way. So that might have grazed off the tip of the bat on one of those pitches. Feel like he was safe there.
Yeah, it was a good cut there on a fastball. Looked like he was ready to time it. This one down the middle. This is going to be a tough play. Have to stop it off a dive for Gunnar Henderson, but he's going to have no play. An infield single for Dubon.
Whoa, that looked very, very curious there about Dubon, but we speak of stopping the bleeding. Well, geez, this is not looking good thus far for Baltimore as we see an infield single. Kramer needs this next one here, going up again, and it's Chas McCormick.
Well, at least we can say this, Alec, right? Gunnar Henderson saved a run there with that diving stop.
At least he saved a run, and once he faked the throw, he knew that there was no time to make the throw over to first for Mauricio Dubon.
No.
Just as he was about to make it, that time ran out. 5 straight hits for the Astros now.
Yeah, good call there, because I was going to mention it here. Maybe they just want to keep talking to Justin Verlander because it's bringing them the luck right now. We'll see if Chas McCormick, second time through the order, can make something happen. He does have some pop, as he went for a big swing, and this one will step on the bag, try to get the throw over. They didn't need to try to get 2 outs because they already had both on that side. So they stepped on the bag, they got the out. And it'll leave it up to Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, and Santander, 2-3-4, as Houston goes bottom 4 with a 3-0 lead.
But Adley stopped the bleeding, but the damage was done there to increase Houston's winning probability to 79% now. And while not always lost for Baltimore, Gunnar Henderson did a nice save on that run that stopped stopped Houston's progress on getting any more runs. But that last out on Chas McCormick is what saved them. And was a fielder's choice to second that tossed out Mauricio Dubon, and that might have likely sealed the deal there. You didn't need to throw it because you already secured it at second base. You need just 1 out.
Yes. If you would have thrown it, you didn't have 1 out there, that could have been a disaster. So you had to be careful there. So if we're not saying it's going to happen yet, I just have this in front of me. So just let the listeners know here, whether it's the space or the YouTube side. If Houston does take this one today, and the 7 games that are played in this series, Houston would be 5-2. They're 4-2 today against the Baltimore Orioles coming into this. Is there any sort of worry for the Houston Astros as far as making a run? Again, we talked about getting Yordan Alvarez back, Tucker, Ryan Presley, trying to get their pitching staff all figured out. Honestly, Alec, I don't care where the Houston Astros record is, as long as they get in, whether they got to play a wild card spot. I think that they're still very dangerous.
I feel that same way as well. And even with the pitching staff taking a hit, once the Astros get a lead over the bats, it's very tough to let that one go because they're relievers. They can get the job done. Even though normally you would think of Ryan Presley and Brian Abreu being relievers.
Sure.
Taylor Scott, Caleb Ward, they can get the job done between those 2 relievers. Josh Hader, he's a hit or miss type of closer, but when he hits, he hits.
Yeah, that's exactly why they brought him in, to just try to go ahead and win this thing. I know they're piecemealing their starting pitching staff right now, and I'm just saying this out loud. But for Baltimore, yeah, they might be a better team record-wise, but if I had to flip a coin and pick between the 2 as far as a postseason run, I'm going to take the Astros.
And they do have the experience to back that one up with 2 World Series wins among the main core of Altuve, Bregman. Those are the 2 mainstays, and you need to keep those 2 veteran pieces around.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to. I think the next time Altuve's contract runs around, are probably a little more team-friendly. Adley Rutschman will take this right down the middle. No problem for Altuve. Throw it over to first, and Rutschman's out on 2 pitches.
And it's that veteran presence that can help out a team onto a World Series run. And as long as the Astros, they're in it, they'll be in it every time. That was a 60-mile-an-hour exit velocity, so not that much power for Adley Rutschman. So I felt like if you were to get a little more power out of that hit, I feel that Rutschman would get at least a base hit.
Alec, we're getting close to this point now. I know it's the 4th inning, but Yusei Kikuchi just got a 3-run spot. Is this enough for Yusei Kikuchi maybe to take this whole thing home, or are the Baltimore Orioles maybe going to try to shock them again late in the game?
Maybe a late shocker could help Baltimore if they want to help things out, but Kikuchi is doing well enough to take this one the rest of the way to end this with an even split on the series. That's what Houston wants of this.
That's what I'm thinking right now. I think he gave him enough runs here. Kramer did what he could. He got bit a little bit in the top of the 4th. He gave him the 5 straight hits and then 3 unanswered runs. It's a 3-0 lead for Houston, bottom four. So I hope that Alec starts to get some runs scoring for him. I feel ashamed that I would steal it from him. But I'm glad to join on this Sunday night as I got him on the video side. I'm on the YouTube side. We got the spaces covered. This is a half-hearted cut. Henderson was lucky to get a piece of that because that was nowhere close. 1-2.
I mean, you can get some luck there because that was a golf ball swing for the most part. Just keep it a 1-2 swing. Those types of throws, you don't want to go after.
No, that's how you hurt your back when you reach too much for that. 1-2, pitch number 54. And it looked like he offered again, and they say no, but that was awfully close to splitting the plate there for Gunnar Henderson. He's getting a little too happy here, and Kikuchi is going to catch him reaching if he keeps going.
It just retracted just on time on the last swing, but that looked dangerously close to going all the way.
Infield play, and DeZenzo makes the play swan diving to first. He thought Kikuchi would be able to throw that over. He said, nope, I'm just going to slide on the infield and make the play at first.
How in the world did Zach DeZenzo do that? I don't understand how these infielders they can dive all the way across and make that play. And DeZenzo, he ran after this. You see Kikuchi, it looked like he was going to get it, but this went right over to DeZenzo. Kikuchi was waiting for it. But no, here's DeZenzo. He's going to do it all himself as Henderson was close by.
So this is just his 12th game in Major League Baseball for DeZenzo here, Alec. He already had that catch in the third where he had to run all the way over and fall in first to make that one. Now he makes a diving play. Would have been unconventional here at first, but he's done the job, and he's also done the job with the bat today.
He has. Zach DeZenzo, who so far today is 1 for 2, and he set up that RBI double that opened the scoring here. Even with Mauricio Devon going 2 for 2 on the day, DeZenzo's been the real hero.
Yes, he has. He's put himself in player of the game territory right now, depending on what the rest of these starters do. This is showing Santander. Big uppercut. This is going to be caught, though, just shy of the warning track. No problem there for Gamble. That retires the side for Baltimore. Alec's going to get set to take it over with Altuve, Bregman, and Diaz as we go to the fifth, 3-0 Stros.
No, it's surprising for the most part, John, that Baltimore does not have a single hit through the first 4 innings. That's what opened my eyes here about how Houston has been rolling back and dominating throughout this game. The Baltimore, they've been limited to no hits.
A little bit of push and pull then, Alec. It must be a mix of that fastball that tops at about 95, 96, and a curve that's about 77, 78, just enough to keep the Baltimore Orioles off balance, perhaps?
It might be just enough for them.
So again, 3 runs, 6 hits, all 3 runs scored in the fourth as we continue to mix inning by inning. I'm going to hand it off to Alec Nava here and take the color side. Thank you for joining us on the space and the YouTube side for Sunday Night Baseball. This is a World Series preview potentially. Again, I'm kind of wondering where that was going to be, but I know that's been thrown out there. As far as the YouTube question, I threw that out there, just a couple votes. It said, who's more likely to win the World Series in 2024 if you had to pick both of these teams? And they're saying the Astros right now. That's kind of where we're at. We'll see which way it goes. I do think if the pitching staff and the bullpen gets healthy here for the Astros, that's going to be enough. We know they're going to get Alvarez back. They should get Tucker back a couple weeks from now as we get closer to September. We're going to get toward the last month of the regular season, and then we're going to jump back into the postseason again, Alec. And then right around there, we also have hockey. So, again, we got NFL pretty much in a couple weeks. You got college football next week. It's going to be the best time of the year.
As we mentioned about the hockey side, looking forward to covering another year of hockey to begin things up. They have the Global Series to begin things, and we're looking at the defending champion Florida Panthers going up against the Boston Bruins in their home opener as they raise their first ever cup banner.
I think that might be our first game if you're able to cover that one with me. That's what I'm going to pencil in.
That's the one I'm looking at as well.
Because we had a lot of fun covering that between Vegas and Seattle last year, so why not double down again? Alec's going to get set to take this one over. Baltimore Orioles need a shutdown inning.
forward to have a chance of retaking this game. They're down 3-0 with no hits. Houston has 6 hits already, all 6 of them. The first pitch that Altuve sees is it far enough to get a double? No. And standing there all the way was Austin Slater.
He hit that one pretty good, but it just didn't go anywhere. He couldn't get enough power underneath it as Slater was able to make the catch.
And the Astros and Orioles had some notable rebuilds in which they had several losing seasons. They have become perennial playoff contenders. Since 2015, they've been a perennial playoff contender, and since 2017, scandal aside that year, perennial World Series contenders.
Yeah, and Alec, again, you talk about that 3 years in a row in that draft, Altuve, Bregman, and Correa in the mix of their draft. I know Correa is now a member of the Minnesota Twins, but that's sort of 3 stars there.
Yeah, 3 stars in which they got, not to mention about other notable players like George Springer, out there on Justin Verlander, who they traded for. Here's Alex Bregman to left. This time is short of Slater, and Bregman gets hit number 7. That's the jackpot for Houston.
Yeah, they look really good right now. And again, you can talk about a little bit for the O's as well, as with ESPN's profile and some rebuilds. Teams that have lost 100-plus games, they've had it rough, and look how they rebuild now. Like it's through the draft. That's what good teams do.
Grayson Rodriguez, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson in 2018 and 2019, Colton Cowser and Jackson Holiday in 21 and 22. Mike Elias, one of the better GMs in the league to build a team, as a swing and a miss there for Yainer Diaz.
See what Kramer can do here. Boy, oh boy. That pitch had to be blocked for Adley Rutschman. Didn't want to jump all over you, but my goodness, that took him way out of the crouch.
We didn't think that this would be a pitching duel. Rutschman had to jump to his right to make that block. This looks to be initially a pitching duel up until it wasn't when Kramer gave up those 7 hits. Here's the 1-1 as we're anticipating on the way for Dean Kramer. Here it is. Diaz grounds it to short, and here's a double play opportunity. Altuve's out, and Diaz is safe. Whereas Bregman, who is out, Diaz is safe. So replace Bregman with Diaz.
Yeah, I didn't want to step all over you there. I was waiting to see for that and just get the right foot on the bag to be able to get that feeder from Rivera in the glove. So it's 2 on and 1 out. 2 outs and 1 out, excuse me.
2 up, 2 down. And the catch was a little too late at first base for Emmanuel Rivera. So Bregman is at the same place. So Diaz is at the same place where Bregman was previously. So it's a fielder's choice for Yainer Diaz. Here's Jeremy Pena, World Series MVP 2 years back. Or the reigning World Series MVP is in the state of Texas. And this is immediately caught by Kramer after a ground ball. And now put Pena away. 1, 2, 3. While Bregman got the lone hit of this inning for Houston, nothing else for them.
Nope, a lot of contact there, Alec, but some clean defense, almost trying to double play. No problem there. Kramer does it himself for the final out. Now we're going to see whether or not it's Eloy Jimenez, Colton Cowser, Emmanuel Rivera. We're going to go bottom 5, and the O's still don't have a hit.
That feels strange, not to mention about just 1 walk for the Orioles. That was Emmanuel Rivera, who was the only base runner for Baltimore in this game all game long, which is strange to see, knowing that the Orioles, they have the 2nd most home runs in the league, right behind the very team we're competing for the AL East, the Yankees.
Yeah, again, this is a lineup that can be very powerful. This is a lineup, even in the mix, we talk about the Yankees and all that too, but the Diamondbacks have been on a run. The Red Sox have been on a run, but boy, oh boy, Red Sox run into the Diamondbacks. And I mentioned this the other day alongside Ian, but Alec, I don't think the Red Sox, I know we got a month left to go. I don't think they're getting in the playoffs. I don't think Kansas City or Minnesota is going to relinquish that wild card spot because you need pitching right now, and they just don't have it with all the injuries that are right in front of them.
The injuries combined with the pitching, and it's the Royals getting into that last wild card spot, or even wild card number 2, if they can go. Or in this event, if they can pull it in Cleveland, they could possibly be a contender for the division, though it's going to be very tough between Cleveland, Minnesota, and Kansas City competing for the AL Central. We could be seeing at a division battle, which is a competition of giants, which we didn't see coming ahead of time.
No, we didn't. And honestly, Alec, it's one of the situations, too, where I know Cleveland has been so far ahead in the division, but if you hadn't looked lately, Cleveland's really been struggling, and their lead in the division is dwindling big time. So if they don't start to get it going here, that might give the Red Sox some life. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you can't let everything slip away.
Yeah, Boston's playoff chances sit at 24.8%. Cleveland's at 96.7%. For Minnesota, it's 89.7%, and Kansas City it stands at 80.7%. So that's where we stand now among the playoff possibilities, where each one of these teams are competing for a spot. The change of 85 just to the outside on the first pitch for Jimenez, number 72 in white.
Again, just off this trade-off side, he does have several RBI and a good batting average, over 300 since coming over from the White Sox. They need him to lock in.
The White Sox, they're the fastest team to 100 losses since the 1916 Athletics. Not company they want to be in. It's not even September yet. 1-1 throw for Jimenez. Here it is. It's foul.
Once we get another stoppage here and go to the sixth, I do have another thing of history that I can share here with the listeners. And according to the White Sox, and trust me, it's not good news.
It's just miserable for them. And normally we say they'd have better luck, but what really is there with them outside of, I don't know, as this another foul ball on the curveball, will stay a 1-2 count.
Yeah, if there's only other thing that's luck for the Red Sox, Alec, it's just rotten luck. That's all it is.
Oh boy. Oh, I know it's an accidental mention of the Red Sox, but at least they can cling on to a 2018 World Series win with Mookie Betts and Dave Dombrowski.
Yeah, you have that. Again, that's a different color socks that they probably wish they were.
2-2 for Jimenez. After ball juice, it was closer towards the dirt. So Yusei Kikuchi is getting set for the 2-2 throw. Jimenez right over the glove of Jose Altuve. This goes to right for base hit.
So now we can officially say, Alec, the no-hitter is gone. As we just started the top of the fifth, Eloy Jimenez gets the job done. At least gives the crowd something to celebrate.
Yeah, at least there is something for the crowd to celebrate. That Eloy Jimenez right over the catching glove of Jose Altuve to get the first hit of the game for the Orioles. And it took until the fifth inning for that to happen. So there is something to see if Colton Cowser can capitalize on this if they were to come back into this game.
So
a tough task going up against Kikuchi. First pitch strike on the slider, 87. It's down the middle.
So one thing for Colton Cowser, again, the average, everything's pretty good around 250, but he's got 130 strikeouts. So he's over a strikeout a game. You don't want to get too big here. Try to make sure. He's a minus 650 to win AL Rookie of the Year. His numbers look good.
Yeah, 777 OPS. That would place him fourth on this team, or fifth on this team, right behind Ryan O'Hearn, Jordan Westberg, Anthony Santander, and Gunnar Henderson in that category. Adley Rutschman sits at a 752 OPS. Right line, Yusei Kikuchi could not have placed that more perfect. 1-2.
Yeah, he's throwing some dots. Again, that off speed, the fastball, it's been a good mix. Again, primary curveball, fastball. That's what he is, but he's doing well.
He is right now. And so far, he's carrying that momentum here into this fifth inning. Perhaps the sixth inning is what Kikuchi could earn. And if he continues to do well in the sixth inning, he could earn a seventh inning. This is high onto center field. He's not going to get there. There's the catch made by Chas McCormick as he chased it down.
Mention this, Alec, for everybody that's listening in at home. Again, we appreciate it wherever you guys are. Kikuchi tops out at 95. That last fastball was clocked at 99.
That was one that we would not expect for someone who tops out at 95. A 99 mile an hour fastball, that is something worth watching. And these days, pitchers, they would go for the more speedy pitches nowadays. If you think of the Spencer Striders and the Paul Skeens into the world, as we have a swing and a miss on Emmanuel Rivera.
Yeah, we do. And now Kikuchi's really starting to ramp up here, is getting these pitches down. Might want to tell him, though, for Joe Espada that he's going to have another inning. Hopefully he's not done after 5, but the way he's throwing it right now, Alec, it feels like he's emptying the gas tank.
I mean, he's still running on full speed ahead. It's 0-2 after 2 swings and misses for Rivera. It feels like he is not taking that foot off the gas pedal.
No.
That fastball is his favorite pitch, but he's not counting out that slider. Here's a 0-2. That's yet another fastball, which went at 96.
Yeah, he's really bringing the heat right now. He's trying to finish everybody off with the fastball.
And he's going after Emmanuel Rivera this time around. This is going to be another 0-2 pitch as we are 1 up and 1 down. So just 1 out, spike to the dirt, and a good block by Victor Caratini. So that's a prevented run from Jimenez. Nice little father-son moment between Yusei Kikuchi and company. His teammate moments between him and his Seattle teammates back then. 2-2 now. Fastball at 96. That went up high.
Yeah, that one, Alec, was definitely an overthrow, as he's really featuring the fastball right now here with Emmanuel Rivera, especially over the last couple. It's been primary fastballs right now as he's trying to get out of the 5th.
It's his favorite throw. Might want to change that up because it's now full count after it went 0-2.
Yeah, definitely a good call there on your part, Alec. Again, it's coming being more of a 1 pitch. He's really starting to see him get a sweat on as well. Again, it was just a no-hitter broken up by Eloy Jimenez. He's the guy that stands at first.
So he uses a little timeout here just ahead of his last pitch. Probably trying to change something up as he's went primarily fastballs. We get the umpire's view. And check swing over first. Rivera did not go. And Kikuchi did change it up to slider. It was outside anyway.
Yeah, good call by you. Good call by the home plate umpire as well. Did not go there. And now the Orioles pretty much have their first set of danger all day, as Victor Caratini is going to go on the mound and talk with Kikuchi, try to see if they can figure out how to get out of this 5th.
He's also coming in with the hitting coach, Josh Miller, that is. It's not a mal meeting for Joe Espada, but it is a mal meeting for Josh Miller, the pitching coach of the Astros, trying to get him cleaned up as we had the umpire at home plate come over to say that the mal meeting's over. So you can say it's a timeout here in this game, but Mark Ripperger said, meeting's over, please wrap it up. I don't want to go onto the game awards, so that one game awards saga.
So Emmanuel Rivera, 2 at-bats, 2 walks. First one was 4 pitches, not even close. That one was 0-2 to a full count walk there. Good work. See if Ramon Urias can get things going.
Ramon Urias, the at-bats for Baltimore are a little quiet here. Emmanuel Rivera, 2 walks. This is Urias' second at-bat appearance. Slider at 90 on the first pitch that he sees, did not go at it. Yusei Kikuchi now up to 75 pitches.
Yeah, and that seemed like that was something we weren't even going to talk about, Alec. It was so non-committal. He was dominating all the way across. All of a sudden, you get 1 hit, you get a walk, things start to change. He's been ramping up to 99 on the fastball. There's a lot of max effort pitches right now.
1-1 after the foul ball. All of a sudden, things start to change here in this 5th inning for Baltimore. So now they got the at-bats rolling. It is starting to look better for them.
Yep, and again, that's what I talked with you a couple innings ago as far as the runs being scored, whether or not Baltimore can come back in this game. You'd say maybe they could get something late. Well, here's a good opportunity. It's been their best one right now with runners at first and second and 1 out in the 5th.
1-2 on the count. Urias, with Yusei Kikuchi already at 77 pitches. You don't know what's going to happen, but the night is already starting to fall here at Crab King City. Here's a high fly ball to left. Is this going to go on away? Yes, it is. We are tied at Camden Yards.
My goodness, Ramon Urias, and as soon as it went off the bat, you could hear the crowd react at Camden Yards. A tie ball game. He got all of that fastball. And it was an exit velocity about 103, about 415 feet as we get the up cam. It's a high fastball. See you later.
Ninth home run for Ramon Urias with an exit velocity of 102.7 miles an hour. And we talk about if this could be an even series for Houston. Baltimore has something to say about that. And just like last game, it's a run that scores in 3 guys. Except it's not an RBI double. It is a 3-run shot by Ramon Urias. And guess who's coming up? The hero of last game, Jackson Holiday.
Can we say this too? Because I just caught this on the camera shot, Alec. That's a hell of a catch with the baseball cap from Perez in the bullpen side.
Oh, yes, it is. And so the Astros, they're not happy about what just happened. They're going to call an intentional ball as an automatic ball on ball 1 for Jackson Holiday because the pitch clock ran out.
Yep.
Yusei Kikuchi signaled for a timeout. They didn't give it to him.
Yeah, maybe it was so loud they couldn't see it or couldn't hear it, even off the gestures, as now Jackson Holiday tries to take a big rip at the baseball.
1-1 on the strike looking. So Joe Espada was not happy about it as Yusei Kikuchi was trying to call timeout. Foul ball on the second shot is a slider to left. This crowd is back in it, and we are back to where we started this game.
Yeah, you talk about it between both of these offense, maybe some unlikely heroes as far as scoring the runs, but a 3-3 ball game, this is what we wanted to see on a Sunday night.
And Sunday Night Lights it is. It's not Friday Night Lights, but Sunday Night Lights also work wonders. 2-2 as this ball was down low. Holiday won 0 for 1 thus far, but the bats are coming alive here in the 5th inning for Baltimore. Not going to happen for Holiday this time as he did not swing. Out number 2 is a strikeout.
Yeah, he got a low fastball on the bottom right side of the corner. He was just caught looking. That caught a lot of the plate. And that's going to single back up to the top of the order.
And somewhere over in the Baltimore bullpen is Cianel Perez. Right away he's chatting with Eduardo Perez, by the way, on those conversations. I don't know if they're related. Wikipedia shows no mention of Eduardo Perez on Cianel's Wikipedia page as we get an 0-1 count now.
Yeah, they really like that catch in the cap. And I'm no kidding here. When Ramon Urias just detonated that one to left center field, that was caught right in the baseball cap.
It is. Change of 87. It is down low. This brings us to a 1-1 count. And now Baltimore has their chance of winning, go up to 56% after that home run by Urias.
Yeah, this is anybody's ball game now, and it's going to be really interesting to see, Alec, as we start to get into these bullpens as this game goes along. And hell, I can throw this out there right now. This could be Yusei Kikuchi's last inning. Who would have thought that?
It possibly the same thing for Dean Kramer. We thought that Kikuchi would be safe until at least the 6th inning. We saw the last foul ball went beyond the yellow line by inches. Just inches.
That was awfully close. And Eloy Jimenez single started it all. As Yusei Kikuchi had to make 30 throws.
This is the longest inning for Yusei Kikuchi. This was going to be his 30th pitch in this inning. Swing and a miss on the slider. And that mercifully ends the inning for Yusei Kikuchi and the Astros.
Again, they're showing those catches. I think the Perez boys on both sides, again, not related on ESPN and the Baltimore Orioles side, both making catches in the cap as we go to break.
Nice little thing for Eduardo Perez, who made that catch in the cap. That is not as nice of him. But I know they're not related between Eduardo and Cianel, but hey, you have one Perez talking to another Perez. It must be something.
Yeah, a lot of similar talent as far as making those type of catches. It's not easy either way. So how about this for Baltimore? Again, you got 3 runs and 7 hits for Houston. 3 runs on just 2 hits for Baltimore. Again, you can also thank Eloy Jimenez for breaking up anything in the 5th. And then Emmanuel Rivera Hadn't had a lot of chances to even do anything as far as being at the bat rack. 2 appearances, 2 walks, a run scored as Ramon Urias detonates and ties this game at 3 as we go to the 6th.
And Baltimore residents have something to celebrate for ahead of the Ravens season. I know they are looking forward to a potential Ravens Super Bowl run. They got to deliver it first, though. But the Orioles, they're also looking to make their own championship run. We're still wondering if they're too young for this, but they got meaningful playoff experience. Last year felt like a welcome to the playoffs type beat when they faced the Texas Rangers at the experience around them, thanks to Corey Seager.
Yeah, it kind of seems like, and I know it's not going to happen, but if Texas had an opportunity to make the postseason now, I feel Baltimore would get a get-right series against them. It just wasn't going to happen at that point, but you brought it up. We're in the middle of the commercial break right now. I can get your thoughts. Give me one team in Baltimore, whether it has to be the Ravens or the Orioles. Who's more likely to win it?
Good question there. I feel, based on talent, I would believe the Ravens are more equipped to win the Super Bowl right now. That feels like the only team in the playoffs that can beat the Ravens is themselves. We saw that last year when they went up against the Chiefs, where they went off their game plan a lot.
Yeah.
They thrive on running the ball. They uncharacteristically went off that game plan and started passing the ball more. You have to do what you do best, and that means running the ball. Lamar Jackson, now that you have Derrick Henry, there's no excuses this time around. Also, you can think of Keaton Mitchell, your young running back number 2 on your roster.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch because that roster is still incredibly talented. And I think Derrick Henry, it might have seemed like the treads were falling off a little bit with the Tennessee Titans. I think they used him way too much. I think for Baltimore, it gives them a chance to get some more weapons. Dean Kramer's back out there. He was in line for the loss. Right now he's in line for the no decision as Caratini takes a big cut. Thankfully, you have the Nets over there and the camera crew. It's 1-2.
So for Victor Caratini, who had one of those 5 straight hits for Houston in that second inning, he took a big cut. Yes, you mentioned that splitter. That went low and went closer towards that safety net onto the right side. Good thing safety nets are there so that the spectators don't get hurt.
Yeah, you have that. And I mentioned with the camera equipment because I see that a lot of time during the broadcast whenever you and I get stuff done. Those camera lenses can be about 15, 20,000 a pop, so you don't want to break those either. If you can avoid it at least, as it's 1-2, still 2-2, make that on a cutter. Kramer is about to throw pitch number 81.
It feels like these workloads may be ending soon enough here for Kramer and Kikuchi in this 6th inning, for what the looks are.
Kramer on a 2-2. Boy, oh boy, that's way high, not even close. Yeah, for Kikuchi, I would say I'd mark that one down. I'm going to watch on the ESPN box and see if that changes, but he had to make 30 tosses in that bottom 5 as Ramon Urias got the kill shot there to at least tie the game. We'll see if Baltimore can find a way to steal another one. They've won the last couple of games in heartbreaking fashion against the Astros. That's definitely good for Baltimore there. The Astros had a chance. They've had the lead late. It was Jackson Holliday just the day before. Ramon Urias right now has put essentially this game back to square. Full count. As we get the ump cam, and Caratini will spray this one left field line. We'll do it again with the full count.
Caratini last year was on the Brewers. Now he's on the Astros, who have been contending time and time again. We saw another foul ball towards the left side.
So pitch clock down to 5. See what Kramer's going to come with. This is a fastball way outside the zone. No problem there. And Caratini's going to take his walk to first.
And that puts the next man up for Houston with Caratini over first. That's Ben Gamble up next, who is in a spare time with Houston as he's been going between the 2 leagues this year. Well, he was going up and down. He was a waiver claim from the Mets.
Yeah.
His Astros debut came just 3 days ago. 2 hits, and he drove in 2 runs in a 6-0 win over Baltimore.
Yeah, I think he's mixing between a whole bunch of teams for Ben Gamble, former Milwaukee Brewer. I think he even spent some time with the A's. Again, the A's are going to be moving to Vegas, so there's a lot going on there as well. Once that gets done, it's going to be interesting to see what that ballpark looks like. I did get a chance to go to T-Mobile Arena at one time. I'd like to go back to Vegas and see more. Gamble's going to spray this one right to center field. No problem there for Cowser as he makes the catch.
Ben Gamble, he's still one of those guys who can contribute, but his line drive was a little too deep as Colton Cowser was backing up to get out number one. And that'll keep Caratini staying put. You cannot steal a base on an out.
No, you cannot. Again, they're just showing it. I'm looking on the ESPN side of the box. Baltimore is just one game back behind the Yankees in the AL East. Again, we might have to do some Baltimore and Yankee games if that comes down the stretch as far as the AL East crown. Again, you mentioned it as much as you want to with Aaron Judge. Again, you got Juan Soto behind him, and it's easy to see why the Yankees are where they are. That's going to be an interesting race down the stretch.
I was curious on that first pitch for Zach DeZenzo. We speak of the strike zone, but you can move it just a little bit from what it seems. That looked like a ball, but it caught a strike.
Yeah, the strike zone's been pretty consistent. Again, we talk about 3-4 baseball links, maybe outside 2 to 3, but it's been consistent. If it's close enough, you better swing. That's a great pitch for Kramer. That was his best splitter of the day. It was in the zone, and they got him to go way out front. Swing and miss.
Zach DeZenzo, he tried that one that was on the low side. Dean Kramer had him fooled there for strikeout number 5. Zach DeZenzo, he tried it. Might have been a little too late on that one.
Leave it up to Mauricio Dubon. He'll be the last hope in the top of the 6th. Again, the Astros trying to bounce back after giving up 3 straight runs after Ramon Urias shot. You had it mixed in between Victor Caratini, who's got an RBI, DeZenzo. He's got 2 RBI double. He had a couple plays at first that looked non-conventional, including a swan dive out. So he's been all over it right now. It's been a pretty good game so far. 2 pitchers, probably Alec going into this. This is what we expected.
Now, Dubon, he has not missed at the at-bats today. 2 for 2.
See what he can do here. He's up against it 0-2 as the light is shining off the helmet here as we got the night lights on at Camden Yards. Pitch number 92. This will be grounded to third. And they'll just take the short out to second, get the force play against Caratini. That'll leave it up to Rushman, Henderson, Santander as we go bottom 6, tied at 3.
Oh, did I just jinx it for Mauricio Dubon? It's the announcers. They told fashion announcers.
Sometimes that happens, but at least he made contact with the baseball. Good play there for the O's. And now we'll see what they can do. Again, they got the right part of their order. And here's the situation we can say to you, everybody out here, as we go bottom 6. Rushman, Henderson, Santander combined 0 for 6. Maybe they're due.
It may be, because you see, this is the best 3 of the batting order for Baltimore. Rushman, Henderson, Santander. Especially when you highlight Henderson and Santander. Santander with 38 home runs as a switch hitter. That's the most in a long time. And not to mention about the young gun, Alec Rushman, who was the first overall pick back then. And now he's slotting into this Baltimore lineup just in time when they were contending for the playoffs and being a perennial contender. Last year, with 100 wins. This year, well, we don't see many teams getting 100 wins this year. We speak that there is some semblance of parity over the MLB because I believe previously from what I saw, and I may have read this previously, that no team is projected to go over 100 wins this season. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think it's going to be awfully close because right now the Dodgers have the best record in all of baseball, and they might not get to 100 wins.
And probably they may be at exactly 100. Maybe.
Yeah, that's probably close. I almost forgot to get to this. I said I was going to do this, so maybe I'll interrupt the play-by-play of myself just for a moment, unless something happens, as we have Rushman at the bat rack. So worst ever in modern history. Again, this is not modern history, but the Cleveland Spiders, this is 154 games before 162. In 1899, they went 20 and 134. The New York Mets in 1962 went 40 and 120. That was 160 games. Now we go to 162. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to. The Tigers were 43 and 119. Right now, the Chicago White Sox are 31 and 100. There's 31 games left in the season. If they go just 10 and 21, they would have the worst record in modern history at 41-121.
They just showed a highlight of Adley Rutschman playing college football. It's nice to see some little throwbacks to their college playing days as Rutschman takes strike one down the middle. Yeah, Rutschman did actually play college football. And in one game, he tackled Christian McCaffrey.
That is something he'll have on his highlight reel forever, I would say.
And even though he swung and missed on the second one, you wonder if the Orioles, they played the Giants over at Oriole Park, and you have McCaffrey in attendance for one of them, hey, perhaps they could dap each other up.
Yeah, and again, I think I'll say this fairly. If you're going to be a catcher, you got to be built like a house, and Adley Rutschman really is. He's got power. He's got all sorts of skill. He's got a heck of an arm. As he had the strike him out, throw him out. Lollipop curve, see you later. Adley Rutschman, that was a pedestrian at bat at best. As Kikuchi gets his fourth strikeout.
Yeah, it comes to mind about that one time when Rutschman and tackled McCaffrey as he swung and missed on that curveball. It does remind me. Does it get the feeling to you that he has the build of an NFL linebacker?
I was going to say that because Aaron Judge is a giant human being. I'm not going to say Adley Rutschman is there because Judge has about 3 or 4 inches of height, but Adley Rushman's a big boy. And you know what? You need to have that if you're a catcher behind the plate every day because that's just punishment.
You have to. So he's built as big as he is.
So Gunnar Henderson, no problem for Altuve as he got the toss over to first for Diaz. So again, I mentioned this as far as the records going in there for the White Sox. They're 31-100, 31 games left. Again, they would have to go 10-21 down the stretch. They close out their series with the Tigers tomorrow with Ty Madden for the Tigers, who makes his Major League debut. 10-21 doesn't seem like that's impossible. So I hope it doesn't happen for them, but boy, oh boy, it's not good right now for the White Sox.
Yeah, everything is just yeesh. And even saying that may be an understatement to how miserable the season is.
So I wanted to throw that out there. We mentioned that with Danny Jansen as well. So those are my two baseball outside things that we wanted to bring into this fantastic game. John Eder with you alongside Alec Nava. We got this on the Spaces side and the YouTube side. Santander, a friendly 3-0 count as Kikuchi. Not even close to the strike zone on any of these. I was mentioning with Alec whether or not he would come out for the 6th. I guess he is still out there right now trying to finish this at just under 100 pitches. Santander, huge cut on a ball anyway. Make it 3-1.
Yeah, the best case scenario for Kikuchi is that you finish the inning at under 100 pitches before you go to your bullpen.
Try to do that there. Keep everything fresh because Houston's still kind of unconventional right now with their bullpen deal with some injuries. Santander's a huge power threat. Can't make a mistake here. That's 88 on a slider. That caught a lot of the plate, but he was out in front of it. It's a full count now.
Now, if you're Houston and you wrap up Kikuchi for tonight, the big question is, who do you go to first? I feel Taylor Scott could be a good bet. Brian Abreu is another one. Caleb Ort really stood out when I saw him.
If you're going to go with that and he stood up for you, that's where I'm going to go. I'll go Taylor Scott or Ort. I'm going to save Hader and Abreu and all those guys for maybe the 8th or 9th. But we will see if Kikuchi gets a chance to finish off the 6th because he walks Santander. And indeed, they are going to make the hook.
So as Anthony Santander makes his way over to first base, I feel like there is a breaking point. Yes, it is. Joe Espada says, hey, you've been good for us, but we're going to have to let you sit down. 98 pitches, yeah, that is enough for Yusei Kikuchi. His arm can't take it anymore after that, and they're going to put in Hector Neris first.
So Hector Neris, interesting, right? Because we've seen him a lot with the Houston Astros here, Alec. But essentially, started the year with the Cubs. He gets DFA'd. He goes back to the Astros. An ERA of almost 4. He's known for the fastball and the splitter. He can be on. Maybe he needs the home confines of his own old Astros team because he's got to get those numbers down a little bit if he wants to be a dependable arm for the Stros down the stretch.
That may be the feeling because he has a sense of familiarity with Houston. He was with them last year on their run to the ALCS. World Series champion with Houston. After the first part of his career, the first half of his career was spent with Philadelphia. And those are the Philadelphia teams before they were perennial playoff contenders with Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, JT Realmuto, with Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. You get the mix. And the common denominator with those playoff contending Phillies teams was Rob Thompson, their manager. Now that Neris is over in Houston, he is thriving in a reliever role.
Yep, that's what he's going to have to do right now. Again, he was used to that in the 7th or 8th, and then he would turn it over to Ryan Presley. Now, Brian Abreu over the last couple of years, who's been excellent. Again, they did sign Josh Hader to try to close everything out. If Houston does get a little more healthy down the stretch, you might see guys like Bennett Sosa or Jose Urquidy, Penn Murphy, Lance McCullers. Again, Christian Javier is done for the year. Maybe Kendall Graveman is not. And then Luis Garcia and J.P. France in the starting rotation. So essentially what we're telling you is the Houston Astros could get a lot of these guys back, and that would essentially change their playoff rotation maybe going into October should they get there. We're assuming that the Houston Astros probably will, but as Alex said, it probably will be as a wild card portion of it where they're going to have to play one of those teams having one of the weaker division records.
May likely be either Minnesota or Kansas City, depending on who gets wild card number 3. We usually never see the Astros as a team playing wild card week, but this is one of those days, those times in which we can actually see it happening, which is weird to see because normally they would be making it to the ALDS outright, but this year may not be the case.
Yeah, because as you mentioned with Framber Valdez, whose number has been down a little bit, they've had to piecemeal the starting staff. You dealt with some bullpen issues. You dealt with some issues there as far as your starting batting lineup with some injuries. As the first pitch, boy, oh boy, that was way inside on Jimenez. They almost had to jackknife out of the way. And then the second one was way outside the zone, and that one got called a strike.
Whoa, you talk about 3 or 4 baseball links? That looked like 5 baseball legs, John.
I was trying to be generous here as far as the strike zone. I think it's been consistent for what it is, but now it's starting to lengthen as this game has gotten later. Again, the season debut for Hector Neris for the Houston Astros, but don't get it twisted. He's been a long-time veteran here. He's just coming back from the Cubs. 2-1, a gorgeous splitter. And Jimenez, he went golfing there. It's 2-2.
23% strikeout rate for Hector Neris. Now that he's back in Houston, he's looking to finish up Jimenez here.
It's exactly what you want to do if you're Hector Neris, and I think that's the right thing for Espada. You want to make sure you limit him to about 1 or 2 batters. Right now, the numbers haven't been where they are, but this is what you want. Just get this out, and then move it on to another key arm in the bullpen. Runner first and 2 outs. This pitch was right down the middle, and Jimenez is going to pop it up. And Altuve camps underneath it. He almost didn't make the catch, but he did. He's able to hold that one down. The McCormick, Altuve, Bregman will go 7. It's tied at 3.
Let's go stretching here for the moment.
He had to snow cone that thing, Altuve, but he was able to hold on to it. I'm going to leave it here for Alec just for a moment. I know he's going to take over the play-by-play. I'll be right back.
He caught it once, let it go, and then caught it again just to make sure it feels like. So through 6, we had the Astros opening up the scoring. They led 3-0 at the 4th with their best inning. They had 6 up their first 6 hits in the 4th inning. To recap, Victor Caratini, RBI single to center, which scored a Jeremy Pena. With Pena starting to take out the run from first base all the way to home plate, it took him 9 seconds to do that. And after that, Zach DeZenso with an RBI double to score Ben Gallo and Caratini. So that puts in 2 runners on that RBI double. Then we had the first 6 hits for Houston on that inning. And the put away by Baltimore right on Chas McCormick. Grounded to fielder's choice that got out Mauricio Dubon. The Orioles tied up in the 5th. Up at Ramon Urias. 3-run home run shot. Scored Eudor Jimenez and Emmanuel Rivera. Heading into the 7th inning. Yusei Kikuchi lasted 5 2/3 innings with 98 pitches. His ERA now sits at 4.39. He struck out 4, walked 3, gave up 3 earned runs and 2 hits. Dean Kramer gave up 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks. He struck out 5. Since day so far is slashing 92 pitches and 6 innings. We don't know if he's going to keep going. Reportedly, he is not. So the relievers are going to start coming in. Birch Smith is the first one up. And they're showing replays of the Little League World Series Championship in which Florida won over Taiwan, so Chinese Taipei. Lake May of Florida winning the Little League World Series on an erroneous throw in the extra innings. It was the 8th inning, with Lake May of Florida winning the Little League World Series. Everyone on their feet here in Baltimore as Birch Smith now takes the mound here. He is pitching at 4.56, so congratulations to Lake May in Florida on the Little League World Series win.
That's pretty cool to hear that. Honestly, I wouldn't want to win it on an erroneous throw, though. Thank you for the reset in between for this game. It's been a good one right now. It's 3-3 between the Astros and the Baltimore Orioles. Again, Ramon Urias, again, Alec just gave it the reset, but the 3-run shot, the latest one right now, a couple innings ago, we're in the top 7.
The first pitch ball for Smith on Chas McCormick, who is leading off. He is the bottom of the order, batting 190. And McCormick stared at that fastball for way too long, 95 miles an hour.
When McCormick is right, and I know his numbers aren't looking good right now this year, he is a guy that has a lot of power on both sides of the plate, so you would have to be careful if he was normally locked in. But it is up against it right now.
Yeah, he is up against it. He swung and missed on that right line fastball at 96. He's up against a 1-2 count. McCormick has that 190 batting average that's going against him. Zach DeZenzo at 216. But McCormick needs to turn it around here on the 1-2. The Birch Smith is taking his time. 3 seconds on the pitch clock. And that's way off on the fastball at 98. So make that a 2-2.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the velocity right now. Smith coming out of the bullpen, throwing heat right now for the Birds.
And here in Birdland, where it is loud here, the 2-2. Got him! It's on the bottom right. The fastball that Smith is used to. He's got strikeout 1.
Well, that tells you why he's in the batting average about in the 180s, because he just caught looking at strike 3. Really something he should have swung at.
He needed to swing at there. Sometimes when you look at these balls for way too long and you see them go to the inside, you need to swing at it. And it's always a possibility when you need to swing it. Now the batting average is down to 189. Perhaps you need to check back in with the batting coaches. Altuve pumped and missed. Almost went golfing there.
Altuve was only had one thing on his mind. It was a home run to left field. He's trying to untie this game.
Chas McCormick may need to have a meeting with Troy Snitker, Houston's batting coach. 0-1 is the count for Altuve. Here it goes. Altuve wildly swung and missed on the sweeper.
I'm going to tell you this right now, Alec. I know Jose Altuve, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to be locked in. These are some of the worst things that I've ever seen him take.
He reached safely in his first 33 career games at Camden Yards. However, he's 0 for 3. He's looked very uncomfortable tonight. He's up against it 1-2 after ball 1. But Birch Smith, the first reliever up for Baltimore, the Altuve's trying to avoid not reaching at Camden Yards for the first time in his career. We don't know if that's going to happen, but he is the heart and soul leader of this Houston team. This ground's over to Gunnar Henderson. Is it long enough to make a throw? It is! Jose Altuve will sit at the dugout.
That's a really nice play for Gunnar Henderson. I know he made it look simple, just sliding a little bit to his right, getting a couple steps in there, but he able to casually get that in his glove, an absolute bomb over to Rivera.
That's not an easy throw to make. You noted a Derek Jeter type of throw in which Henderson had to turn and throw at the same time will partially turn, but it's a tough play to make for Henderson. Here's the first pitch for Bregman, and it's to the right on the curveball at 82.
Yeah, he's got some speed and power, that's for sure.
Alex Bregman, who is second on the order, one of the longtime leaders of this Astros team. He's watched for it all, the ups and downs. High fly ball to left. This is going to be out of here. Alex Bregman retakes the lead for the Astros.
He got a curveball, Alec, that he absolutely liked. He just got it out, 397 feet. As he got a 100-degree launch angle, but he got a piece of that. He got out in front of it enough. Smith, he put a lollipop there essentially, and what that means is that hung up too much in the middle of the plate. And Bregman cheated out in front of it, but man, he was all over it as now the Astros take the lead.
Now this may change the strategy at the bullpen side for the Astros now. Between Ort and Scott, I feel you could send out either one of these two first. Save Abreu for that haven. This one isn't going to be long enough. How about it? Two straight solo shots. Yainer, Diaz. Hello and goodbye.
I wanted to make sure again not to jump on you, but the camera cut was so quick we almost both missed that home run there. Yainer Diaz, how do you do? 455 feet.
That's a Corey Seager type of home run if we ever saw it. 455 feet out to center on the left side. That looks good for Houston all the way as they try to get away from the series with an even split.
Well, again, we talked about no problem there with the velocity for Smith, but Alec, it's the location on those pitches right down the middle, right in the happy zone. You're doing that to guys that are hitting like Alex Bregman, who's got his 21st home run, Yainer Diaz hitting well over 300. Can't make those mistakes there late in the game.
And Jeremy Pena, who is up. And for Smith, you cannot make those mistakes. Do not give them a pitch that they like. Jeremy Pena, Adley Rutschman sees it. Is this going to be over at the stands? It will be. They'll make it a foul ball. No chance for Rutschman to catch it.
Man, oh man, it changed in a flash there. Houston Astros, again, we talk about them trying to do some damage in this series. They'd be 5-2. That's kind of a kill shot, though, a couple times, because you have a chance there to do some damage, and then you lay a couple pitches where you shouldn't late in the game.
And you're on the 1-1. He poked and missed on the sweeper at 85.
That was way outside of the sweeper there. Pena was looking like Altuve. He's got to walk back in.
Yeah, he was going after the pitches that he likes. That time, he should not have swung on it. If it's in the zone, you swing. Outside, don't do that. Unless if it's coming in on something that you really like. Here's the 1-2 for Pena. Swing and a miss. And Birch Smith walks away having given up 2 solo shots. But he puts away Pena on a big swing and miss on 99 miles an hour.
This is going to set it up pretty good, honestly. I mean, Baltimore, let's say it as it is. You got Rivera with a couple walks, Arias with a 3-run tank. He's going to be due up third here in this bottom 7 as we get set to stretch. But, I mean, man, oh, man, they only got 2 hits. Houston's got 9. So you feel like they've been the better team in this game right now. And those 2 runs, we'll see if that's big because Houston's bullpen down the stretch. You bring in Brian Abreu. That's usually church there, Alec, and the game is done.
Usually it is. As we see, so far ESPN is not updating as Hector Neris. He has thrown 5 times, ERA of 3.86. And if they're not updating it as for the moment, they could be sticking put with Neris because he may have earned the 7th inning. Unless if they're going a different direction, is it going with one of Abreu, Scott, or Ferguson, or King for this matter?
I'm looking at it in the sense of the handedness. You got 1 lefty and 2 righties against the righty there. You could maybe give Harris, as you said, that inning in the 7th, or maybe try to figure out 1 or 2 batters before you make the switch over, depending on what Joe Espada wants to do there. So Harris is on a wait and see here, but for For Smith, boy, oh boy, that's not the relief that you wanted there. I know it's only a couple hits, but it's a couple tanks, and it gives the Astros a 5-3 lead as we go bottom 7.
It's not what you want if you're Birch Smith. You want to just put this right behind you and think about in the long term about what implications you need to have over the future. That Baltimore, they're going to go a different direction in the 8th inning. So if you want to get someone else, and Keegan Aiken could be maybe for that moment. Sir Anthony Dominguez, the trade deadline acquisition from Philadelphia, that might be another direction. I would not be going to either one of your two closers and Craig Kimbrell or Yainer Cano.
So that's what they have right now for Cano to close. That's good to know there. So I be updated on that, because when I see Gregory Soto for Philadelphia and former Detroit, it can be a little wild. So they probably will need to figure out, Alec, a 7th inning guy they can go to consistently to try to close this one down. Again, that's where they really miss Felix Bautista.
That's where they're missing him on the closing duties, because he is on the 68 injured list. Yainer Cano, that Baltimore is alternating between him and Craig Kimbrell for closing duties now that Bautista is out on the 68 injured list.
Yeah, that'll be something for me to watch going forward. Again, I know I said this a few times for the broadcast in the mix of maybe part of the lineup of the starting rotation or the bullpen, but starting rotation is a little bit thin until they get Grayson Rodriguez back and Eflin, and maybe some of those guys in the back end bullpen figured out. Again, that sounds like small things to say because the lineup's so good, but it really isn't. The margins, we know this, Alec, as far as covering any of these things in the postseason. It doesn't matter what sport it is. If you have any sort of misnomer where you struggle, these teams will pick you apart and take advantage of it.
And that's where Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez, they can come out to the starting rotation. Jacob Webb, Tyler Wells, Felix Bautista, crucial for your bullpen as we head to the bottom of the 7th. And some little previews between Cincinnati and Atlanta over the past. And maybe what this was the Sunday Night Baseball showdown on April 7th, 2022 between the Braves and the Reds. So a little throwback in which ESPN was showing. Astros lead 5-3, heading to the bottom 7th. Strike 1, right on Colton Cowser. It was just a little to the outside. Friendly call to Hector Neris.
Well, I'll let you take the play-by-play for the rest of this, but boy, oh boy, Hector Neris, look out.
Yeah, that was a spike ball towards the dirt. Not what he wanted on the 1-1.
He almost hit Colton Cowser on the right foot.
And when that happens, that could impact his running ability, even though he automatically goes to first on such a case. Here's the 1-1. And that's bottom left. Splitter, no swing from Cowser. Might have confused him. 1-2.
Yeah, you get one almost thrown at your foot, then you drop in a perfect pitch in the bottom left portion of the box. Who would have thought?
Hector Neris earning himself the 7th inning after a nice bottom third of that 6th inning for Hector Neris. It is golf swing for Cowser, and he missed on the splitter.
That's exactly his out pitch, and you mix that in with the fastball, but his splitter is the way that he gets some strikeouts. He definitely got the job done there, not even close for Cowser.
As we highlight Joey Votto, as ESPN was highlighting, most times leading the league in OBP. Votto 7 times is up there. Ty Cobb, Rogers Hornsby, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, and Ted Williams. 7, 9, 10, 10, and 12 respectively. And he's among all-time greats, Joey Votto.
Yeah, Joey Votto should be absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer, and anyone says otherwise, definitely going to get it wrong. That is an elite list.
An elite list upon many all-time greats. When you have company in Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, that says everything right there. First ballot Hall of Famer and a class act.
So nothing wrong with what Emmanuel Rivera did today in his 2 plate appearances with 2 walks and a run scored. Ryan O'Hearn going to go ahead and get a chance at the bat rack.
He's going to fill in the place of Emmanuel Rivera as the pinch hitter. Ryan O'Hearn is an infielder, and O'Hearn is going to get this over to the stands. Someone's going to catch it and take it home.
He's got a lot of power, does Ryan O'Hearn. He's got 12 home runs with 48 RBI, 270 average this year.
I believe that they're going to shift the infield around and maybe put O'Hearn over the same spot that Rivera was at before.
Yes.
Heading into this. Here's the 0-2. Up high, fastball at 94, makes it 1-2. Hector Neris still going. He is now 12 throws into the. Here's the 1-2. O'Hearn. Is this deep enough over center field? Jazz McCormick is tracking it back in the warning tracks for the catch. Nothing doing for O'Hearn. He'll sit down.
I'm not saying this the wrong way. Don't get the wrong idea, but they're profiling Joey Votto so much, I happen to think that he must be playing next week on Sunday.
Well, wish him a happy retirement by season's end.
I think this might be his final year.
It is his final year. He can go sit down, go back to Toronto, and I don't know what else goes for here, but he is retired now. 0-1. He spent his entire career in Cincinnati.
Yes.
He's seen the rise of the Reds now. He'll be cheering for them the rest of the way now that he is going back home to Toronto. I don't know what else is there over in Toronto that is up there. Perhaps a tours around the CN Tower, maybe attend some Raptors or Maple Leafs games. Either one can, and no more square.
No, and he gets to see the new captaincy for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Austin Matthews, who's coming up a 69-goal season, 70 when you include playoffs. Just as we see Ramon Urias fouled to right, and it's a passing of the torch between John Tavares and Austin Matthews over in T-Dot. 2-2 for Ramon Urias. Here's the throw. And here's Ramon Urias. He's going to left. Here's the chase down by Mauricio Dubon. Is it? You got to catch it. Oh, my goodness. Just as he hit the wall, Mauricio Dubon is down.
Oh, boy.
That underhanded catch, and it does not look good.
Oh, my goodness, Alec. That looked like a car accident toward the left field side. He made an unbelievable catch, but he paid the price for it, and this looks awful.
My goodness, yeah, this looks very awful for him. Jeremy Pena and Chaz McCormick immediately rushed it and to get to his attention. He ran straight over to left field. He made the underhanded catch, which was a gorgeous highlight.
Yes.
But it came at an incredible cost.
Yeah, he had to brace himself with both the right and left, and it looked like his maybe shoulder, arm. I mean, he is down. He's breathing. He's talking over. It seems to be okay, at least for that, but I hope that he didn't break something. But honestly, Alec, that looked like a football tackle against the wall.
Well, yeah, it does. And Jose Altuve and more, they're coming in to help, and the medical staff is out there for Houston. Best wishes.
Yeah, I hope he's okay because honestly, Alec and I, we have to say it this way, that was one of the best catches I've ever seen. That's a shame that it ended up working that way. I hope he's all right.
Hopefully everything works out for him, or Dubon, and that he gets better. Well, now that Yordan Alvarez, he's out of the equation for this game. He's
Right.
day-to-day. That may force Jake Meyers into action now that Alvarez is out. And we speak of Cedric Mullins. I thought that he would be in the mix here. Well, he's not. He's day-to-day too.
No, you make a great call there with Jake Meyers because, again, they had him off the bench. He's had a pretty good year so far for them in limited duty. That would be the last outfielder, essentially, that they have, unless you want to go ahead and try to mix something else for a corner. It's getting pretty thin. And honestly, again, best well wishes to Mauricio Dubon, a 30-year-old, but he's one of their better players on this team as well. So if he goes down for an extended period of time, that's not going to help the Astros.
It is not for Houston because they need that hitting for them. Yordan Alvarez certainly provides that hitting help that they really need here. He's batting .306,
Yes.
which leads the team ahead of Diaz and Altuve.
And let's say this because I know you brought up Meyers, and for good reason. If I'm Espada, Alec, I'm not rushing Yordan Alvarez back until he's ready to go, right? I mean, I'm leaving him right where he is.
Yeah, he's not the lineup for tonight. So don't rush him back. You want to keep him as healthy as possible for your playoff run / World Series run if the Astros return there.
Yeah. So, as Alec and I mentioned, I think it's going to be full systems go here for Jake Meyers for the foreseeable. They say Alvarez is day to day, but I just don't think you rush anybody like that. Thankfully, now I get the camera shot ahead of you. Dubon's walking off under his own power. My goodness.
Thankfully, this is the case. He has some damage over to where it was, but yeah, he paid the price for it. But he is good. He is up. He took a heavy hit on that.
Alec, I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen some of those ones. Sometimes you get the grating in the fence. We've seen Bryce Harper get cut up toward the steel portion of the fence. Padding or not, that is an absolutely brutal collision.
Yeah, that is. And those impacts, if not careful, those can really bring a lot of damage to the shoulder or even break it.
Yeah, we're looking at it now from the camera shots as far as him walking off. When they see him moving everything, maybe it did just knock the wind out of him. He got cut up toward, at least bruised up toward the right side of his brow. But man, oh man, that was an absolute collision. And again, I have to forget that I'm going to be jumping back into this play-by-play because we were just shocked from what we saw. And honestly, again, that was an amazing catch.
And perhaps the best that we've seen in this game. The guy that ESPN was talking about, Perez, he's in the game.
So Perez is going to go ahead and try to get some bullpen work here. Try to make sure they keep it right where it is as the Houston Astros are at the bat rack 5-3. He's the one that made the good catch off of Arias' home run. That made it 3-3 at the time before a couple of solo shots from Bregman and Yainer Diaz. And that's why the Astros have the lead. And then essentially, I think from where we are, that's going to make it where Alec's going to close this out. Devon closed 130 feet to make that catch. As we're showing more camera shots in behind them, we're getting any more updates. We'll let you know before this game is done, should we get them. So Perez got one more pitch as he's waiting for an 0-2. And that's exactly what he'll get as they offer at a slider way outside the zone.
Now for Houston, want to capitalize more and more on this, just as there's a strike too. Yeah, Ben Gamble, he's up there. Mauricio Dubon, he's getting treated over by the staff. He is all right. Zach DeCenzo, he's due up next, 1 for 3. And if he reaches, that will put Dubon up next, unless if they go with Jake Meyers.
Yeah, it's a good call on your part because you're right at the portion of the order with 6, 7, and 8. He would be due up 8th. Gamble will spit on a slider. Again, that one way outside the zone, spiked in the dirt. Just 6 pitches into his day. As far as Baltimore, again, Smith was the one that gave up a couple of solo shots in the 7th. Perez now trying to close this one out as we'll have 1 out in the 8th. 2-2. Oh my goodness, that one hit the left side wall. It almost caught a piece of the umpire.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Oh, wow. That was one of the wildest pitches ever that we have seen. And that looked like it was, that would have been a lot more disastrous had there been
Yes.
the plates.
Yeah, it was not good there. That was a fastball high up in the kitchen that almost caught a piece of everybody. Full count. Pitch number 7, slider. And he'll take a walk to first. That was not close.
Not even close anywhere for Perez. It was outside, and DeCenzo knew that. So Gamble knew that, and that'll put DeCenzo at the plate. Well, ESPN is ahead of me as well. There you go.
All good. Just glad to be here with you. I think we've done a good job in this broadcast so far. We've been waiting for these two teams to play a little soft toss over at first. They'll use a disengagement. Runner is safe right where he is in Gamble. Again, we'll see what happens with DeCenzo. He had a 2-run single, ended up scoring a couple in the 4th inning. And when the Astros had a 3-0 lead before the Arias 3-run shot, and then a couple solos for Bregman and Diaz. That's why we're 5-3. This fastball way inside. make it 1-0.
I know Houston, they're at the lead. They're looking to protect this. So never a bad idea to get more at the plate if you're going to shoot these out of the park.
This is a jam shot, and this one will go foul down the first baseline. DeZenzo trying to spray it. Again, that's what happened in the fourth inning a couple times before it was a good deep hit that scored a couple runs. I'll pull back down in the box score here as DeCenzo got the left field double, but Victor Caratini able to get a piece of it on the bat. Just able to get this toward the third baseline, pass around Gunnar Henderson, and then end up opening it. DeCenzo made it 3-0. Arias, bottom 5 at a 3-run shot. Here's a chance. This is a soft roller toward third. Throws high. It's thrown away now, and they're going to have to hurry, try to get this one in. Now it's going to be runners at second and third. My goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say to you guys about that last throw. You got runners at second and third after that bad throw all the way to first. That could have been an out. He reached on an infield base hit, put him over at second after that wild throw from third to first. That was bad.
Alec, I'm not even sure if Ryan O'Hearn had a trampoline that he would have been able to make that catch.
Yeah, me neither. You got to calm your nerves and think back to this and put this right behind you. Because I don't know what Ryan O'Hearn could have done there because that was a bad throw.
Yeah, Ramon Arias, I don't know where he was throwing it to, but it was way high. No chance for O'Hearn. He had full extension. He tried to jump. Honestly, they're lucky that that one didn't go all the way back out of play, but essentially it worked the same way. He got runner from first to third and all the way to the second because it completely got away. Bowman now starting to get warm in the bullpen here for the Orioles, Matt Bowman. And really for Perez, Alec, we can say it at this point. He's got to be able to lock this down right now. Should Baltimore try to get back into this? We're late in the game. It's top 8. Houston scores a couple more runs. This could be done.
You know, with Jake Meyers at the plate, he's filling in for Mauricio Dubon. So we mentioned that Houston's going with Meyers now that Dubon is taken out for this game.
And Jake Meyers does the job, Mr. Nava. He dubs it deep enough to Santander, tries to make the throw. It's way late. Gamble scores on a sac fly.
That is. I thought it was Meyers who sent this to the deep right and scored in Ben Gamble. And Meyers is doing his job on this. Even though he did not get the hit there, he does just enough so that he can bring in Ben Gamble to expand his lead to doubling it up 6-3.
Yeah, you can say the 8th spot in the lineup right now for Espada. I know Dubon was taken out of this game, but the 8th spot has 3 RBI right now for the Houston Astros, and it's a 6-3 lead. Chaz McCormick, one more time before they turn this over, should they get one. He's got a couple strikeouts, 1-0. This fastball not even close. Again, it's been a little wild here for Perez, and it makes for his infield as well because Arias threw it well out of play. 2-0. We're in Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. John Yainer with you alongside Alec Nava. It's a 6-3 lead, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN as this one's fouled back.
Baltimore, their backs are against the wall. They need to shut it down here. They need to mount this comeback. Even though late game comebacks, they need to learn from this experience, bring in some reliable veterans if they were to have these young guys work on late game comebacks.
McCormick didn't run at first because he didn't know if that was going to go foul. That had home run distance. It is foul, and we'll do it again on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-2.
Yeah, it was just to the right of the pole. That's why McCormick didn't run there. It had the distance, but it was just to the right of the ball.
I cannot get over the amount of fans that are not in seats right now. You could literally take half this ballpark and move them toward the middle of the field, and they could sit wherever you want. And speaking of that, McCormick's going to sit down for the 3rd straight time. He strikes out yet again. We go bottom 8. Houston up 6-3.
That's not going to do wonders for his batting percentage.
No.
Now down to 188. Holiday, Slater, and Rutschman are due up. So Chaz McCormick got to get some work on the batting there.
Yeah, he's looking like me if I play MLB The Show late at night at this point. He can't swing like a bat. So we'll see what happens as we get toward bottom 8, and then I flip it back over to Alec and close. Right now, this is in good position. Whether you want to use Abreu or Hader or whoever you want, this is in good position right now for the Stros.
With Ryan Presley, who's you don't have any bad way to
No.
go for Houston because you essentially have two closers when Presley is healthy. Though Hader's your main guy, Presley showed last year that he is your guy, a guy that you can go to if you want to close things out.
Right now on the ESPN box that is ahead of us, I'll just give everybody the update. Thank you guys for listening in throughout. Brian Abreu is going to go ahead and take this 8th.
Not a bad option for Houston. Though 3.41 ERA, you would believe that they'll be going with someone like Taylor Scott because his ERA is over or below 200. But Brian Abreu being a long-time reliable reliever for Houston, that is a good choice for them. All things aside from the brawl over the Lone Star Series, he's still a top reliever.
Yes, he is. Again, he's very dangerous, especially during the postseason time. I know I caught the end of this game. Shohei Ohtani got hit, I think, in the 8th inning on the right side of his hand, and then Mookie Betts hit a 2-run shot to beat the Rays. Dodgers win 3-1. Mariners win a game. They're above 500, 66 and 65. They win 4-3 against the Giants. The Padres will stay right where they are in the wild card race. They win 3-2 over the Mets, and the Diamondbacks keep their pace. They got a 3.5 game lead in the wild card as they beat the Red Sox 7-5. We'll give you some more scores in a little bit, but I am watching the Atlanta Braves because they're outside of it now, Alec, and Austin Riley went down. They just cannot get healthy.
The Braves, as we were highlighting, they're trying to cling on to that third wild card spot. But they're 6 games behind the Phillies in that NL East battle. I feel the Braves getting into a playoff spot is not out of the equation, but wild card may be the realistic option.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the only option for them right now should they be able to get in. And I know there was a conversation the other day, and we can have it. And I'm not going to yell at you if you pick Shohei Ohtani to win NL MVP, but I will just bring up this point very quickly. If the Braves do get in and Marcell Ozuna continues to stay hot, he might be the reason to get an MVP because that team is just not healthy.
And the Braves, they lost Strider, they lost Acuna, and they have a lot of guys who they got banged up with injuries. And Bill Ozuna may be the big reason why the Braves are in this position.
2-1. Jackson Holiday had a slider go right in his bat path from Abreu, but he still swings and misses. Make it 2-2.
Yeah, it was a slider that he thought he liked there. It was close to a curveball, but not there for him.
6 runs on 10 hits for the Stros, just 2 hits for Baltimore, but it's a 6-3 game. And that was a slider that caught too much of the plate, but this will be toward left. No problem. Makes the catch. And McCormick, who slides over, he's got it.
Had the swing for it. Jazz McCormick switched over to left field because Jake Meyers slotted in. So Meyers is now at center field. McCormick switches over to left. Brian Abreu, and here's a 1 up and 1 down. No big deal for Abreu. Now he's going up against Austin Slater.
So essentially, if Baltimore gets retired in order, you will have Henderson, Santander, and Jimenez as the last hope in the 9th, Alec, for the O's. We'll see if they can get it done. Right now, the win probability, if you believe in all that stuff, is at 94% for the Houston Astros. The only reason I say it that way is because just the previous Sunday Night Baseball, the Tigers were able to actually get the win over the Yankees and take the series as Parker Meadows got the game win.
We see Abreu potentially setting up Josh Hader, who's one of the top closers in the MLB. Yeah, he's in that top 10 area. Adley Rutschman's waiting patiently for his turn. The win probability slowly trending towards the Astros, now at 94%.
Again, Alec mentioned this. This is great to throw in there. Kyle Bradish, John Means, Tyler Wells, Felix Bautista, all out for the year. They're still waiting on Grayson Rodriguez, Zach Eflin, Jacob Wayne, and Danny Colombe on that end to be able to come back and help them. So we'll see if that happens. 96. This will be a take. There will be a half-hearted swing as well, but it's 2-1. Slater's still got count leverage.
That was one of those in which I had my eyes on the radar for Baltimore now that he got acquired from Tampa Bay. He rose up to prominence with the Rays, and now he's on a playoff contending team like the Orioles. They got a good one.
Yes, they do. And I feel like some of the trades that the Orioles they could have made, Alec, I think they went for team control, and they want to make sure that they can grow with this team going forward. I do think that's a good decision.
It is a good decision indeed.
Full count. Slater trying to make something happen here as the O's are essentially down to their final 5 outs. They're 3 runs down right now. See what Abreu can do. He's absolutely nasty. And Slater is going to go grab some pine. It's a slider. Caught looking.
So for Austin Slater, it speaks to it about that decision. But nonetheless, he got caught looking there. You got to swing on it. Bottom line, you now need that you swing on the pitches that you like. They're highlighting James McCann previously. He took a pitch up towards his hat, kind of grazed his nose, and he's got a bandage on the nose after that. It might have hit his nose. Never fun.
I was gonna say, Alec, I wish they didn't highlight that because it looked like he just got caught in a boxing match. My goodness.
It felt like he got beat by Roman Reigns in a WWE match. Ouch.
Yeah, it's never good. You got 95 coming towards your face. I seen one of the horrifying ones was Torrey Hunter when he used to play for the Angels. He got hit in the helmet, and his helmet split in half. So the velocity that these guys have is absolutely ridiculous. 86, what a slider there. As Abreu trying to get out in front, but it's still 2-1 for Rushman.
I know relievers, they go with the fast pros nowadays. As you see the rise of pitchers with fast velocities, as you see the Andres Munoz's and Robert Suarez's the world take over at the closing duties. Suarez took over closing duties for the Padres this year, and he's faring nicely.
Yes, he is. We'll see if it's a death by slider here for Adley Rushman. Just one tank in his last 29, a couple sliders perfectly located at the bottom of the zone. What's Caratini want to make the call here for Abreu? It's 2-2. Here's another one. This time he spikes it in the dirt. It's a full count.
Danger zone for Brian Abreu as he is the setup man. Adley Rutschman, he could use a home run. He hasn't had that a lot in his last 29.
So again, you're looking at it now, Alec. You'll be seeing it. You got it right there with Josh Hader, who's looking at his lineup card. And Adley Rushman, I don't know what he was thinking there, but he's going to go sit down as well. Brian Abreu, easy work. That'll leave it up now for Altuve, Bregman, Diaz for some insurance, but the Astros still up by 3 as we go to the ninth, 6-3.
I guess the golf swing didn't pay out.
No.
And Victor Caratini made sure that he was just easy work there for Brian Abreu and Victor Caratini to get Adley Rushman. Well, at least there is something to wonder about golf swings. Probably giving Rory McIlroy a run for his money.
Yeah, Rory, there's been some guys that have had some rough numbers of late on the tee, and he has certainly been one of those. Someone that's had a rough game right now, but will take it in a win. Jose Altuve is 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. I'm not trying to be disingenuous here. This is the most uncomfortable I've seen Altuve look in a game possibly ever. So we'll see if he can get his on-base streak going here at Camden Yards. He's been hitting well over 400, but not tonight.
Yes, he has not reached on all this game, even though he's reached his first 33 games at Camden Yards. But tonight is not as nice. As you mentioned, he's looked very uncomfortable at the plate. Some of the pitches that he's seen were not some that he has really liked. and it feels like this is a different sense of uncomfortableness for Altuve here at Camden Yards. It's one of his favorite ballparks to play when on the road, but it's just not there tonight.
No, and I can imagine, and it's a little bit different in the Crawford boxes in left field at Minute Maid, but Camden Yards is another one of those ones tonight where it's a home run ballpark, and it kind of plays to where Altuve is. You can hit it in the gaps, you can get a little speed, you can pop it over the fence, and I can certainly see why he likes those numbers, but not tonight. But it will be Altuve, Bregman, and Diaz due up in the ninth as Alec will get set to close this one out for us. Bottom line, it's been a good game. It's pretty fortunate for Baltimore that they even have 3 runs because they only have 2 hits tonight.
Yeah, for Matt Bowman, who is replacing Sino Perez in this ninth inning, they're utilizing a rookie here to go up against Altuve, Bregman, and Diaz, which he'll have his work cut out for him on that instant. Bowman, it's a tough situation, but not impossible for anyone, let alone rookies.
No, and this is the time that you got to get it done because, Alec, as we talked about, as we head into September, Orioles really need to see what they have because they might need these guys in the playoffs in the postseason.
And not to mention about the guys that we mentioned that could be coming back this season. Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez among them that could come back this year. So here's Bowman, who's going up against Altuve first. That's to the left, sweeper 85. We'll see if Altuve is going to reach onto one of the bases because he hasn't thus far in this game.
And now he's starting to not get some friendly calls. My goodness.
Yeah, that one was up high by several ball lengths. He reached safely his first birdie 3 games, but not tonight.
Yeah, it's looking up against it right now. Altuve was getting that same pitch in the same spot. This time he had to swing at it.
Yeah, it's a foul ball, sweeper 83. He'll go right to the ball boys. Now a 1-2 count, so Altuve has one more shot to keep the at-bat on Bay Street alive at Camden Yards. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts is Altuve. Is this the one? Not there yet. He's going to sit down for the moment.
Yeah, they made him reach all night, essentially trying to find a baseball that just hasn't been there.
Well, I may have gotten ahead of myself, unless if... Okay, I had to stop jinxing it. 1-2 is the count. Here is Bowman. He will not reach tonight. And for the first time in his career, Jose Altuve is not going to be at a base at Camden Yards.
0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts.
That feels unreal. We just witnessed history tonight, John.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, even if he didn't have the outlandish number at Camden Yards, anytime you hear that about Jose Altuve, that just makes you want to scratch your head. We'll see what Bregman can do.
Yeah, Alex Bregman, he is one of those reliable batters for the Astros. Altuve is just not his night. 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts as Bregman takes it down low. Matt Bowman looking comfortable at the mound. And ever since May 27th, Bregman's batting .295 with 17 home runs. This is some of the best baseball he has played in that stretch. Bregman is second, and just a simple throw all the way to first for Jackson Holiday. Ryan O'Hearn to make the catch.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that with Bregman. He's been able to hit the ball hard all night. He's seen it well. He had a pretty much go-ahead home run there alongside with Yainer Diaz. That's pretty much given them the lead, and they haven't relinquished it here. And Josh Hader is waiting in the trenches.
Jeremy Pena's on deck should Yainer Diaz reach. But Matt Bowman is looking comfortable here at the mound. Diaz now, what does he have to offer up against the rookie Bowman? Strike 1, bottom line, no swing for Diaz.
Nothing wrong with some of these locations so far for Bowman. He's looked pretty good.
So far, so good. He's delivered on Altuve and delivered on Bregman. And this is a ground ball to short. What's the foul ball where they're just going to play catch? This might have hit Diaz or something. I don't know.
It bounced.
We'll wait and see what they're going to roll it.
It bounced off the bat and hit him in the foot.
So are they going to roll a foul
Yes.
All right. So they're going to roll this a foul ball. And Henderson and O'Hearn, played a little catch in between, practicing a little bit, but not much from there because it hit Diaz's foot. Might have impacted him. We don't know just yet. Here's the 0-2. Now 1-2 after the sweeper, which is to the left at 83. It remains a 1-2. Matt Bowman is looking comfortable here, and he is heating things up at the mound for Baltimore. He keeps in the future. Swing and a miss, and Diaz will sit. Now Josh Hader, he'll go up against Gunnar Henderson, Anthony Santander, and Eloy Jimenez. He will walk out now, and here he comes.
I don't want to make light of this, Alec, because honestly, for Bowman, that's a really good outing there. You had a good portion of the order, kind of made them look silly, and be able to get some weak ground balls in between in the mix of Altuve, Bregman, and Diaz. I mean, that's the damage that you want to be able to do. And we talked about some of the injuries a little bit through the last couple innings and what they're going to need and what they might get back. If Bowman continues to do this, maybe into September, he might find himself into a postseason spot.
He may. Yeah, he could be at the most reliable reliever for Baltimore if he keeps this up. Now, I know Josh Hader is among that top 10 list of the closers right now. And if he wants to live up to that, he can deliver here with another strong outing. And that top 10 list includes guys like Emmanuel Quaset, Edwin Diaz, Devin Williams, David Bednar, John Duran, to name a few.
Yeah, he's absolutely in that list. I know he struggled a little bit when he first got to the Astros. He had to deal with some things going on in the family, but it is a 100-mile-an-hour lefty that can definitely place. He's got multiple pitches, the 4-seam, 2-seam changeup slider. He's absolutely deadly. That's what you bring him in for. The 3.36 ERA is probably above where he wants to be. He's much better than that. I would expect him to lock in as this season continues to move forward.
That's the reason why they trust him as their closer, that he delivers at these clutch situations whenever they're in need of a save situation. 3.36 ERA. Normally, closers, they would have an ERA of below 300. For Hader, he's been turning it on ever since that hot run the Astros had.
Yeah, he's somebody that they're going to depend on. I'm looking forward to watch this one and see what happens as you close it out. It was a good ball game today, Alec. I'm glad to be able to join you for this one. This was fun.
Let's wrap this one up. As we go to the bottom of the ninth, same situation here for Josh Hader. Astros lead 6-3. Alec Nava, John Hott. Hader now up against Gunnar Henderson, the leadoff batter. In the bottom of the ninth, Astros with 10 hits, the Orioles with 2 hits. Baltimore has the lone error. Let's see if everything holds up for Houston as Henry walked out with the home plate umpire Mark Ripperger in a little conversation beforehand between him and Victor Caratini. Brandon, I also wants to wonder what's going on.
Yeah, I'm wondering because I know I'm slightly ahead of you. I don't have the TV up very loud, but something was going on alongside the crew chief as they were radioing amongst themselves. But I think that Josh Hader, after maybe a little bit of a respite, Alec, I think we'll get this one underway. Hopefully a fan's not on the field.
Hopefully not. The Astros, they have a 96% chance of winning this. So anything can happen here at the bottom of the ninth. Hader's getting himself warming up over the mound, and he is scratching that mound, the dirt over the mound. There may be some problems with the mound, it seems.
That might be what they're, yes, that's exactly. Now we know why they signaled over to the crew chief, because Hader wants to make sure that when he lands, he doesn't fall and end up hurting himself. So they're going to do some mound repairs here. So we get to see a little bit of everything. It's not quite changing the glass in a hockey game, but maybe it's somewhere close.
I know the fans are frustrated because they want to see the inning resume. But you have to ensure the player's safety here.
Yes.
Make the game as safe as it possibly can.
And Hader threw one of his first warm-up tosses out. Like he caught it right away, and he automatically glanced over and said, "Hey, let's fix this."
Yeah, he spotted immediately because we need to fix the bottom of that mound just as he landed down. And he wanted to talk to Ripperger, the home plate umpire, the crew chief, soon as to fix the mound here at Camden Yards if they get this repaired?
I'm not sure what it is, Mr. Alec Nava, or whether it's working with you or Cooper Hopkins or anything else. Every time I work with you, gentlemen, I feel like I've seen something I've never seen before.
Yeah, you remember that one time we saw some of the fans throw a ball over at George Kirby. That was weird.
Yeah, it's just something always happens whenever we end up doing a game together. It's always fun. 27 straight saves, longest streak in Astros history. I can't believe 27 is a lot, but I can't believe it's only 27 is the longest streak in team history.
It feels so hard to believe, even when you have another elite closer at your disposal in Ryan Presley.
Right.
Even when he's hurt, he's still a very reliable closer, as shown last year. But now you have Yainer and the mold. That takes the closing staff to another level.
So here we go. The repairs are all done. It'll be Gunnar Henderson to lead off the ninth.
The streak extension on the line here for Josh Yainer for franchise record 28 saves in a row. And Henderson, it was in between, but 97 on a sinker, no call, ball one.
I want to watch here for the velocity and what kind of stuff he throws. You got sinkers, you got two-seam, four-seam. He's going to really go after you when he's at his best.
And calling it ball two as it was top right. They did not give Yainer a strike. It was in between.
It's an interesting call, Alec, because we've seen some pitches that have been way outside the zone be called for strikes.
Foul ball off the tip of the bat for Henderson. It'll now be 2-1 for Gunnar. Claps here at Camden Yards. He also has some Let's Go O's chants. The 2-1. Oh, that was close. Almost hit the head of Henderson. It's now 3-1.
And he busted him in tight with a 98-mile-an-hour sinker.
Fans rumbling here as they're anticipating either a walk or a base hit for Gunnar Henderson, who's part of the score. This was outside, and Henderson goes to first.
Those were pitches that were not close. And now if you're Santander, you don't want to get too big. You know he brings a lot of power, and that average might get him prone to some strikeouts. Find something you like here. Keep the line moving.
Keep it going for Anthony Santander. He did hit a grand slam in Game 2 of this series. Jackson Holiday hit a three-run double. Strike one as Santander did not go. Sinker 98, top right. 235 bounty almost with 38 home runs. A home run can bring this to within one. Santander takes ball one on the sinker at 99.
Really trying to get inside the kitchen of these power hitters.
So that's what Josh Yainer wants to do up against Santander, a well-known power hitter. Here's the 1-1. And this is foul to left. It hit the wall as it goes back onto the field. Make it 1-2. Josh Yainer trying to relax the nerves a bit. Orioles down 3. 6 threes to score. Astros with 10 hits. Orioles with just 2. The 1-2. Up high is now 2-2. Sinker at 99.
Yeah, these misses have been very intentional, or maybe the pitch control just isn't there yet.
Probably not. We'll have to further look at this. Here's the 2-2 that may be on the way soon enough. We'll eventually get. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a hit onto deep center. Is flying over to Jake Meyers, who makes the catch for out number 1.
Man, oh man, Alec, about 104-mile-an-hour exit velocity. Nothing wrong with what Santander did there. He just couldn't find it.
In a stadium just a walk away from M&T Bank Stadium, the Josh Yainer, he had trouble finding his zone initially, but his outfield got the job this time around to put away Santander. Now up comes Eloy Jimenez, who's 1 for 3 today. He had the first hit in the 5th inning on an RBI base hit. Yainer throws triple digits. It's outside on the sinker, though.
It's the first time he hit triple digits on the gun right now.
Russell Street, where this ballpark is located. That is the exact street here in downtown Baltimore. Swinging this ground over to second. Here's a double play opportunity. It is there! And the Houston Astros put away the Baltimore Orioles to even up this series to end it with a 6-3 victory.
They go 5-2 in the season series, and honestly, they shut this team down to just 2 hits today. Very impressive performance here for the Astros. Yainer made it look easy with the defense behind him. You know what? We've seen the Houston Astros a lot, Alec, but it doesn't change. Allegations are not down the stretch. This is a very good baseball team. A couple other pieces get a little more healthy. Hopefully, Mauricio Dubon can be on the mend. This team's going to be dangerous when it gets to October.
October, of course, is going to be the time when it matters the most, and the Astros know well about it. 7 straight ALCS appearances, gunning for 8, which is just no easy feat. And whether or not they make it to the World Series, it is something to watch for the Astros, nonetheless. But the Astros, they're still a force to be reckoned with, and as long as they're in the hunt, you can never count them out.
Yes, they are. Same thing with the Orioles. They're a good team as well. That's what we wanted to watch this one tonight. Again, I would give my edge to the Astros. Should we get to the postseason side, should they make it, assuming everything is going to be as it is. But as Alec and I said, probably a wild card spot more so to try to finish this one all off there for the Astros, considering their record. Unfamiliar territory, but I feel like they can get it done. We'll see what happens. I know, Alec, I'll probably catch you later in the week for Diamondbacks and Dodgers. I think that is next coming Friday. That's probably where we'll lock up again. I'm looking forward to it. Good job today.
Thanks. Yeah, it is Friday, which it is Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Hopefully to see you there, John.
Sounds good, man. You take care.
Take care, everyone.
What's going on, Cristiano? Again, we just closed this one. We finished it up. Again, I probably missed about an inning and a half on the recorder side because I forgot to record it, but we got all the good stuff there. All the YouTube side is done. 6-3 is your final. The O's get just 2 hits. Astros 10 in attack. They win 6-3. I'll link back up with Alec on Friday for the D-backs and Dodgers. Again, that's going to be domed, I think, in Arizona, so it'll be good there. No threat for weather. I'll probably be back on the Tuesday side. I want to watch the debut for Ty Madden against the White Sox. I know it's the White Sox, but I want to see how the Tigers starter is going to do. I'll probably catch back with you Tuesday. Once I figure out the assignment, I'll get it posted. You guys have a good one. Peace.